500 mark with the win this afternoon. The Bearcats come into Foster Field with a 2-7-1 record, tying last week's game at Peru State College 10-10. One thing also note about this is Coach Borow's 19th year. His overall record is 118, 64, and 3. Bud Elliott, the head coach of the Bearcats, is in his third season at Northwest Missouri State. His 23rd season overall. His overall record is 123, 110, and 7. At the when he at North Missouri State, he is 13, 19, and 1. Last year's game, the Bearcats beat the Antelopes in Maryville, Missouri, 35-21. Northwest Missouri State holds a 5-2 series lead. Last time Kearney State won was in 1970, a 37-13 win. The Bearcats have won the last 3 times the schools have met. In last year's game, the Bearcats pounded the Lopers for 525 yards rushing, and the Lopers took an early lead in the second quarter when Doug Banks caught a 62-yard scoring pass from Russ Harvey. But on the Bearcats' next play of scrimmage, Ed Tilson ran up the middle for a 79-yard touchdown. The score was tied at halftime at 14 all. Jeff McDowell replaced Harvey, who was injured, and hit Banks on a 45-yard touchdown pass. And then on the next position, Tom Cruz scoring a touchdown for the Bearcats. Diane Lee opened up the second half scoring with a 13-yard touchdown reception from McDowell. The Lopers were not to score again. Cruz scored 3 more times from yards of 75, 50, and 11 yards out. The preseason rankings came out for these Bearcats, and they're ranked 6th in the Sporting News NCAA Division II, but after only losing 6 starters off last year's 9-3 team, like we mentioned before. A couple of players look out for this afternoon, and I mentioned one time before, Ed Tillison. He is averaging about 5.7 yards a carry. Here he has the most yards so far this year is 652 yards. On the defensive side for the Bearcats, look out for Dave Sabela, a senior from Lincoln, Nebraska. He has 122 total tackles, so that looks for him to be a very integral part of the defense of Northwest Missouri State. On the Kearney side of the football, you have to look out again for the receiving core of Rogers, Banks, Valine, and also the passing of Russ Harvey. Running game, this game, Coach Claiborne said that he will start Greg Schmidt at running back, because he is a senior and it's his last final home game here at Foster Field. Today is Parents Weekend here at Kearney State. We will recognize the seniors on the Kearney State football team. Some of those seniors are Steve Simmons from Powdertown, Mississippi, Russ Harvey from Grand Island, Travis Blaine from Long Island, Kansas, Mike Arnold from David City, Doug Banks from Imperial, Greg Smith from York, Greg Schmidt from Clarkson, Matt Arndt from Lincoln, Darren Gunn from Kearney, Scott Ford from Westlake, California, Tim McCaw from Omaha, Tom Brennan from Holdridge, Diane Lee from Grand Island, and Mike Long from Franklin. Again, it's a beautiful day for football compared to last week when the snow was falling and temperatures fell down to about 20-some degrees. Now we'll take here timeout for the national anthem here at Foster Field. In the color guard is from ROTC here at Kearney State College. was the national anthem here at Foster Field. Again, here you're watching the North Missouri State Bearcats take on your Kearney State Lopers in the final home game and regular season game for both teams. Some records that could be broken today for both teams. One is that Doug Banks, the wide receiver, is in the NCAA Division II kickoff return leaders this week in the 13th slot. Banks is averaging 25.5 yards on his 13 returns and has scored 1 touchdown. As you see there, Kearney State will elect to receive the ball to start this football game off. The captains are Darren Gunn, Russ Harvey, Doug Banks, and DJ Vokalek. We're about to get everything underway here for the football game here at Kearney State. There you go, Kearney State. Gutter kicks off to waiting Banks in the end zone, and he'll just kneel it down in the end zone and a touchback at the 20-yard line. Russ Harvey brings the troops up the line. Banks, on the far side, Banks and Rogers on the near side. Schmidt's the lone back in the backfield. Harvey looks over the count, over his line, changes the play as an audible. Takes a snap, he's back to pass. Hit Valine on the far side, and it's enough for a first down. So Kearney comes out right away with a first down pickup on their first possession, and Coach Boyle's got really be happy about that. Back in line is Harvey, Rogers, Banks, and Valine here on the near side. Schmidt, the lone back. Harvey back to pass, looking for a receiver. Complete to Banks. Great catch there for Doug Banks to keep that ball in his grasp, and that will hit the ground on that play. Brings up second down, and about 4 yards for the Lopers. Harvey again under center. Hands up to Schmidt, takes the right side back to the middle, and he's brought down there by number 40, Dave Savela, by the Bearcats of North Missouri State. Banks up on the far side there, top of your screen. Schmidt's the lone back. The Bearcats might look blitz here on this play. Long count by Harvey. Back to pass, he'll roll to his right. He'll keep it himself. It looks like tucks under his shoulder. Takes the first down and more and goes out of bounds about the 41-yard line. Great idea by Russ Harvey to keep that ball under his arm and take himself to pick up the first down. First down 10 for the Lopers is underway here in the first quarter of play. Rogers ends the lane here on the bottom of your screen. Smith's the lone back. Handoff goes to Smith, takes the right side. He's under a lot of pressure and brought down by number 1, Jason Agee of the Bearcats. Jason Agee is a free safety, 5'7", 160-pound junior from Arlington, Texas. Valine and Rogers again here on the near side. Lone setback is Smith. He goes in motion to the far side. Back to pass, quick out to their tight end, and he fights for a first down. Great second and third effort there by number 80, Donnie Lee for the Lopers. Valine, Banks, and Rogers coming to you on your screen. Setback again is Schmidt. Harvey's seen something he wants to change. Looking over the defense. Under center now. Handoff again to Schmidt. He goes up the middle, fakes, jumps it outside, and brought down by Jason Agee and a lot of other Lopers on that play. So Jason Agee, the first one to hit Greg Schmidt on the play. Second down and about 9 yards for the Lopers. Back to pass is Harvey looking long and just out of the reach of number 20, Doug Banks. They led him a little bit too far, as you can see. On the far side is Rogers. Right here in the bottom of the screen in the corner is Banks. Schmidt still in there in the backfield. Back to pass is Harvey. Can't find but looking, fakes one. Hits lead the 20-yard line. And he fights his way down about this 16-yard line and brought back to the 17 yards. So first down and 10 for the Lopers on that play. Rogers here on the left side. The right side is Banks. Fake to Schmidt. He'll roll with his left. Fakes pump. He'll pick it himself and hit hard by number 90 for the Bearcats, Eric Peterson. And also number 71, Bill Kearney. Schmidt in the backfield by himself, like we've seen so far in the first couple of series of this play. Harvey under center looking over the defense. Calls his count, hands up to Schmidt, so bring to the left side, cut it back up underneath, and is hit and brought down there by number 1, Jason Agee again of the Bearcats. First down and goal to go for the Lopers.
Harvey keeping himself. He pitches to Schmitz on the right side. You got one blocker ahead of him, and touchdown, Kearney State College. They go on top 7-0 on their first possession of the football game. Darren Grouse will come in to add the extra point, so they can go up 7-0. Grouse picks up, and it's good. And Kearney State leads Norfolk State 7-0 here at Foster Field with 10:01, as you can see, left to go in the first quarter. Doing the kicking for Grauholtz will be, doing the kicking for Kearney will be the Darren Grauholtz again. As we're almost underway here at Foster Field again, and the kick is up. Taken by Jeremy Johnson. Johnson fumbles it right away. He didn't see it in the screen and picked up at the 8-yard line and ran it back up to 14, so a 6-yard gain for number 8, Joseph Johnson. Quarterback is number 16, Jeremy Wilson. Wilson fakes the handoff to Tilson, and he'll shoot himself. Get the outside. He breaks one tackle and finally brought down by number 6, DJ Volklek. So one thing that Kearney's really got to be concerned about is the speed of number 16, Jeremy Wilson of the Bearcats. But out the near side is Ellis, far side is Glorioso. The wishbone formation, handoff dive, fake handoff to Tilson. He keeps it himself. Nice stutter step move. He keep it going and brought down the number 22, Dave Banger at the 50-yard line. So right away, the quarterback sees a very big threat this afternoon for the Lopers. The bone in the backfield is Hindus. The fullback is Tilson, and the other halfback is Johnson. Handoff goes to Johnson. Takes the left side, just about brought down, and skips out across the 48 down at the 47-yard line. Again, still in the bone formation, something that Kearney hasn't seen that much this year. Wilson looking over defense, changing the call. Handoff goes to Tilson. Tilson breaks a few tackles, still on his feet, and skivers across at the 40-yard line, at the 39-yard line to pick up about 5 yards for Ed Tilson of the Bearcats. Here on the near side is Ellis. The tight end is Glorioso. The bone formation still for the Bearcats. Fake handoff goes to Tilson, but we have a stoppage of play. The quarterback number 16, Jeremy Wilson, had the ball, but they decided to whistle that play dead and start all over again. They didn't know where the ball was stationed, wasn't right. Wilson under center again, looking over the offense, calling the count. Fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and is brought down there by number 52, Gary Estes of the Kearney State Lopers. Second down and 11 for a first down. Lost of 1 yard on the play. Fake handoff to Tilson. Wilson keeps it himself, brings out here to the right side, and he's got a long way to go. DJ Volklek is there and knocked him out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Again, great run there by Jeremy Wilson of the Bearcats. The bone formation of Hindus, Johnson, and Tilson. Out here on the near side, number 20, Coda. Handoff right up the middle to Tilson. He gets about 3 yards on that carry. A little trouble there with the camera. Apologize for that. And the bone again. Here comes Glorioso on the near side in the slot formation. Halfback and the back door the same. Head-off dive to Tilson. He bowls the way in for a touchdown. Norfolk State Bearcats. And one thing that you saw there was that Tilson carried about 4 Lopers into the end zone. So they pulled in 1 point at 7-6. Into that next point is Goddard. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. So with 5:44 left to go in the first quarter, score is tied at 7-all. Goddard ready to kick off to the waiting Lopers, as you can see. Some deep kick. Kick will go to Banks here. He brings the near side. Has his wall of blockers and just trips up by him. He followed the leg, so about a 10-yard return by Doug Banks. On the near side, there is Valine just going out of your screen, and Rogers, lone back now in there is number 34, Nolan Byer. Handoff goes to Byer. He skips one tackle and gets maybe a yard, or back to the line of scrimmage. Have to wait and see where the spot is. They give him back to the line of scrimmage, so second down and 10. Out there on the left side, the right side is Valine, Banks, and Rogers. Rogers comes back into the slot position. Byer is still alone back. Harvey under center, calling the count. Harvey looking to pass. Complete to Banks. He crosses the middle, and he gets out to the 22-yard line, so enough for a first down. So first down 10 from the Kearney State 21-yard line. On the far side there is Valine. Here, as you can see, is Rogers. The lone back still is Byers. First down and 10. It's about 2:15 left to go in this first quarter. Harvey back to pass. He hits Valine on a slant, skips one tackle, and fights his way for a second, third effort for another Kearney State first down. So those second efforts by the Lopers are actually paying off on the first down game. Coming here on the near side is Valine and Rogers. The far side is Banks. The lone back again still is Norm Byer. Haven't seen Greg Schmidt the last couple plays. Harvey in the center. Quick out to his tight end. And he was not really sure that was coming to him. That was Mike Long. On the far side, Banks. Slot back is Rogers. Lone back is Byer. Byer fakes one move. Here comes Harvey to the right side, looking long. Nice catch there by Doug Banks at the 31-yard line of the Bearcats. And great catch like we saw earlier where he got his arms underneath that football to make sure it didn't skip off the turf. Rogers, Banks, Valine, the same receiving core in there as we've seen all season long. Byer still into the backfield. Harvey, handoff to Byer. He fakes up the middle. He'll bring it out to the left side. He'll get the block there from Valine and gets knocked out of bounds at about the 23, 24-yard line. Ball resting on the 24-yard line. Second down and about 2 yards for the Lopers. Long count in Harvey. He's back to pass. Looking and out of the reach. Omar Rogers looks like he might have been held on that play, but no flag. So third down and 2 again for the Lopers. Quick out to Rogers, and he gets down the 20-yard line. That'll be a first down and 10 for the Lopers. First down and 10 at the 20-yard line. He gets up to the 10 and a half for a first down. Rogers in there, as you can see at the top, at the right of your screen. Fake handoff. Russ keeps himself, cuts it back up, gets down at the 15, down at the 13-yard line before he's tackled there by Dave Sevilla, number 40, and number 12, Reggie Lovett. Harvey calling off the cadence to his receivers of Rogers and Banks. Back to pass, looking for a receiver just out of the reach. Tipped and caught by Jason Egg. Intercepted, fakes the pitch, reaches at the 12-yard line, tackled at the 13-yard line by number 20, Doug Banks. And that's one thing we have to mention in the previous game, that the receivers sometimes have trouble hauling in those passes. So again, Wilson back on the offensive attack. Fake handoff to Tilson, spin, and he's tackled there by number 37 for the Kearney State on a great tackle. Shannon Hansen. He wasn't faked at all on that fake handoff to Tilson. Second down and about 15 for the Bearcats. Gloriosa moves over there to the left side. Handoff right up the middle of Tilson, and Tim Arts meets him at the 13-yard line and brings him down, so a gain of about 3 yards. Third down and 12 for the Bearcats. There goes Gloriosa in motion again. Bone formation in the backfield. Handoff again to Tilson, and he's brought down at the 16-yard line, and Tim Arts jumps up very excited along with DJ Voklack there, number 6. So coming in to punt for the first time this afternoon will be the Bearcats. Their punter is number 80, Todd Gray. Todd Gray gets off a nice high spiral. Banks drives him back to the 24-yard line. Fake cuts, going to the right side. He has a couple blockers. He's going to the 40, the 45, the 50. Down to the 40, one person, number 35 for the Bearcats. Tackles Doug Banks. That's Lance Miller.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fairchild. Education is still our best defense against the spread of AIDS and the harm that can happen when people are not informed. That's why the Will Rogers Institute is offering a free booklet that can give you the facts. You'll learn how AIDS can be caught. You'll learn the difference between having the AIDS virus and having the disease. And you'll learn how to protect yourself and your family. For your free copy, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
Welcome back to Foster Field. I'm Kevin Slownick. Russ Harvey back to pass again. And overthrows Doug Banks. On that previous play, Doug Banks took the punt and ran it back, plus a 49-yard line, and that's where we pick up the action again. Here's third down and about 9 yards. Excuse me, second down and about 9 yards for the Lopers. Hardy back to pass again. Scrambling, hits his receiver across the middle. That is Doug Banks. First down, 10 for the Lopers at the 29-yard line. The top of the screen is Banks and Rogers. Fake to the receiver. Banks goes up high, brings it down. Great coverage there on the play was number 5, David Wheeler, but Banks came up with the play. Second down and 4 for the Lopers. Here the bottom of your screen is Valine and Rogers. Lone back is Schmitz on this one. Harvey fakes the handoff to Schmitz. He'll roll to his right. Escapes a few tackles. Throws across the middle. Hits Valine at the 7-yard line. Great receiving ability by Valine on that play to know that his quarterback was in trouble to come back and help him out and make the reception at the 11-yard line. First down and goal to go for the Lopers. Right, Schmitz the lone back. Long count again by Harvey. Looking over the defense, calling a different cadence on the play. Pitches again to Schmitz on the option. Schmitz will walk right in for a touchdown. Touchdown, Kearney State College. They go up 13-7, and 2 times that Greg Schmitz have gone across the goal line on the option play from Russ Harvey. Grower hopes in at extra point. McDowell the hold. The snap's down. Kick is up. It's blocked. And Dave Savela recovers at the 4-yard line. He runs it back in the end zone. So to wait and see. I believe it's unsportsmanlike conduct. There was penalties, and it was unsportsmanlike conduct. So Grower attempts the field goal, but extra point again. Snaps down. Kick is up, and this time it goes right down the middle. So, with 12:37 to go in the half, Kearney leads the Bearcats 14-7. Grower will again kick off to the deep man of Joseph Johnson, number 8, and Jason Crone, number 15. The wedge breakers are number 12, Steve Simmons, number 15, Colby Lathrop. Down, the ball goes to Cronin. Cronin gets it out the 10-yard line and brought down there by number 35, Mark Yulee on that play. Jeremy Wilson, the 16, still in at quarterback. The bone formation of Tillotson, Hindus, and Johnson in the backfield. Ellis split out to the left side. Ellis handoff goes to Hindus, who gets about 2 yards, if that. And Tim Arts again on the tackle. Again, the bone formation, same back as the previous play. Changing the count is Jeremy Wilson, quarterback. Handoff to Tilson. Tilson breaks a few tackles and jumps out across the 20-yard line down the 21-yard line. Back to the action again. Wilson under center. The bone formation. Ellis out here on the near side. You won't be able to see him in this screen. Hand up to Tilson. Tilson gets tripped up and brought down to the 25-yard line. 4 down linemen, now 5 with Schmidt. Greg Schmidt coming, he backs off. And up goes to Hindus. Flea flicker back to Wilson. Wilson looking for a receiver. He's going long. And DJ Boker comes to the interception at the 31-yard line. Nobody on that defensive side of the Lopers was fooled. So Lopers take over at the 31-yard line, first down and 10. Rogers and Banks out to the far side, split out left. Schmidt's the lone back. Fake hand up to Schmidt. He rolls. Hits Rogers across the middle at the 40-yard line. He brings it down to the 42-yard line. First down 10 at the 42-yard line for the Lopers. Rogers and Banks out to the far side. The bottom of the screen is Valine. Lone back is Schmidt. Fake hand up to Schmidt. The reverse to Rogers. Rogers brings it 30, 45, 50, and down at about the 43-yard line of the Bearcats of Northwest Missouri State. All 3 receivers you can see split out left of Rogers. Valine Banks. Quick out to Rogers and batted down there by number 10 for the Bearcats. That was Chad Ducharme. Same 3 receivers split out left. Schmitz is still in the backfield. 5 down linemen for the Bearcats. Fake head up to Schmitz. Reverse to Valine. Valine at the 45. Back at 50. Out of bounds at the 41-yard line. So it looks like no gain for Valine, but he made it into about a 6 to 7 yard gain. Banks at the bottom of your screen along with Rogers, and Valine at the top of your screen with Schmitz the lone back. Back to pass is Harvey. Looking for a receiver. Hits Valine at the 30-yard line. First down 10 for Kearney State at the 30-yard line of the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Rogers and Banks on the far side. Valine, as you see at the very bottom of your TV screen. Schmidt still at the backfield. Harvey at the count. Back to pass with Harvey. Screen to Schmidt. Gets at the 30. The line of scrimmage. Back down to 25, 20. And down at about the 18-yard line. So another first down penalty flag, personal foul on the Bearcats of North Missouri State. So they'll move them down 10-yard penalty down to the 8-yard line. So first down and goal to go for the Lopers of Kearney State. Quick out to Rogers. He just about number 93 for the Bearcats. David Walter just about had the interception, but Rogers was able to get it and take it down about the 6-yard line. So a 2-yard gain for Lopers. The second down and goal to go from the 6-yard line. Smith goes out the left side. Harvey back to pass. Hits Omar Rogers in the middle of the end zone. Touchdown, Kearney State College. So they go up right now 20-7. Brower hopes for the extra point. Kick is good. The Kearney State leads the Northwest Missouri State 21-7. 8:07 to go in the second quarter. Brower holds back in to kick it off after the made extra point. Here comes the wedge breakers again, right down the middle of the field with their great speed. Ball goes to Johnson this time, number 8. He breaks a few tackles and brings it out to about the 24-yard line. That's where the Bearcats will take over offense. Going out to the left side, right side, it is number 17, Ellis, still in the ball with Hindis, Johnson, and Tillotson. Johnson just getting down now in position. He's on the left side in the back. The right side is Hindis. In the middle there is Tillotson. Handoff goes to Johnson right up the middle, and it's hit hard and driven back to the 29-yard line by DJ Voklek, number 6. Wilson coming up to the troops, up to the line of scrimmage. The bone formation. Ellis here in the corner of your TV screen. Second down and about 4 yards to go. Hand off to Tillotson. He breaks a few tackles but just tripped up and was about 2 yards shy of first down. Third down and about half a yard for a first down. The bone formation of Tillotson, Hindis, and Johnson in the backfield. And the bottom of the screen is Ellis. Handoff goes to Tillotson. He breaks the right side, the 40. One tackler to beat, and he's off to the races. Banger could get him. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Northwest Missouri State Bearcats and Ed Tillotson, number 34. A 64-yard touchdown run by Ed Tillotson. Gotthard will be in to add the extra point. That's Robert Gotthard. Down, kick is up, and it is good, so they will.
Serious eye injuries can happen in the home, the yard, the workplace, or the sports field. So play it safe. Wear heavy-duty safety glasses or goggles like these when using tools that can send particles flying. Wear impact-resistant sports goggles when playing racket sports, basketball, or any game in which your eyes can be hit by a flying object or by another player. This simple precaution can save your sight. A message for eye safety from the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
So we'll take a quick break there. 61 left to go in the first half. Kearney leads Northwest Missouri State 21-14, as you just saw, with Robert Gotthard adding the extra point. The ball goes to Valine at the 15-yard line, to the 25, the 30, 35. Breaks a few tackles. He's off the race down the 50, the 45, the 40, the 30. We'll just give him a touchdown right now because nobody's going to catch number 16, Travis Valine. Touchdown, Kearney State College, as the answer right back right away on that after that run by Ed Tillotson. So Kearney State goes up 27-14 right here. Grouse now will try to add extra points to make them go up by 14 points. Grouse kicks up, and it is good. So Kearney State leads the Bearcats.
Want to do something really, really nice for your friends? Next time you go out with them, if they're going to be drinking alcohol, offer to be the designated driver for the evening. That means you stick to non-alcoholic drinks and drive everyone home safely. Next time, one of them can do the same thing for you. You could be saving them from being arrested or having a serious accident. You could even be saving their lives. Now, that's what I call a friend. For more information on drinking and driving, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
So again, before we're interested on that one, Tri-State leads 28-14 with 6:38 left to go in this first half. Squarehold and number 41 just comes out right away and just hits Squarehold's hard. That's Vince Moser. I don't know if you'll see it later in the next time Kearney State scores, but Vince Moser, after Growlitz kicked that ball, just came right at him and hit Growlitz pretty hard there. Back to the action. Wilson under center, the bone formation again. Seems to be working real well for the Bearcats. Handoff goes at Tilson. He's hit hard by number 55, Darren Gunn. Darren Gunn came into this game with 99 total tackles. That puts him up at about over the 100 mark on that tackle. 96 tackles is DJ Voklek. He's already had about 2 or 3. So he's about 2 or 3 shy of 100. Handoff goes to Tilson, the right side, tripped up by number 44, Tim Arndt at the 25-yard line, but he gets out to the 27. Third down and about 4 yards for the Bearcats. Fake handoff. Pitch goes to Hindis. Hindis tries to take out Garland and Bryant right on Hindis' back and rides him out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Loss of 3 yards on the play. Means a fourth down, so Goddard will come in to do the punt, or Gray will come in to do the punting. Banks goes for a fair catch at the 47-yard line. Banks. Harvey under center. Rogers here. The low bottom screen is Valine. Top screen Banks. Going back is Schmidt. Fake handoff to Schmidt. He'll roll. He hits his tight end for about a 10-yard gain. First down, 10 for the Lopers. On that catch was Mike Long. First down, 10 for the Lopers on the Bearcat 43-yard line. Harvey just about wanted to keep it himself, but couldn't get more than about a yard. That brings up the redo first down, a penalty on that play, holding against the Bearcats. The first down, 10 again for the Lopers from the 42-yard line. Harvey back to pass, looking for the receivers. Just off the fingertips of Rodgers. He was in double coverage there by Julian Brown. Second down and 10 for the Lopers. Ball resting on the 43-yard line. Schmidt moves up a little bit. Bowers came with Banks going long. Fake pump. He'll go to his receiver, Valine, and just out of bounds and over the fingertips of Travis Valine, number 16. People wanting pass interference, but I didn't see any on that play. Harvey again with Valine and Rogers on the near side. Up the top of your screen is Banks. Harvey under a lot of pressure. He'll scramble. He'll throw it. Intercepted by number 1, Jason Agee of Nicholas Missouri State, and that was probably not a very good pass for Harvey to throw because he's under heavy pressure. Should throw it long so no one could catch it. So the Missouri State takes over on the 20-yard line after interception by Jason Hagee. Handoff goes to Tilson, and he's just driven down there by Kearney State Lopers. On that tackle's number 69 for the Lopers, Dan Fox. Under center, Tilson, the lone back, 3 receivers, name of Johnson, Ellis, and Glorioso. Wilson keeps himself and runs it, and is pushed out of bounds there and dives across for a first down by Darren Gunn. First down, 10 for the Bearcats. Again, the 4 receivers of Ellis, Hindis, Johnson, and Glorioso. Lone back is Tilson. And motion back there is Hindis. The pitch goes to Hindis at the 30 and takes out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. They'll spot him back to the 37. Second down and 5 for the Bearcats. Again, go with the 4 receivers. Haven't seen the pass. Hindis in motion again. Handoff, fake pass to Tilson, and number 89, Garland Bryant will ride out Wilson out of bounds. Back to bone formation is the Bearcats of Tilson, Johnson, Hindis. Out right there, is Ellis. Handoff goes to Tilson on the left side, and he gets out across the 40 down at the 41-yard line. Here comes Ellis at the bottom of your screen. Same backfield as before. Here comes Glorioso in motion. Now it's down to the left side of the tight end. Handoff goes to Tilson. Breaks a few tackles. And nice tackle there. Hung on there by number 6, DJ Voklek. First down and 10 for the Bearcats. Fake handoff. Wilson back to pass. Pitches receiver, Tilson. Tilson carries a couple players with him and finally knocked out of bounds by DJ Voklek. First down 10, the ball resting on the 32-yard line of Kearney State. The slot back is Hindis and Johnson. The lone back was Tilson. Going long for Ellis. Wells brings it in and touchdown, Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. A nice 22, 33-yard touchdown reception by number 17 for the Bearcats. It was Ryan Ellis from Jeremy Wilson. Got hard in to add the extra point. Got hard the extra point and scored 28-21. With 1:11 left to go in the first half. Robert Goddard will now kick it off to either Banks or Valine waiting back there. Gets on the squib kick. And number 88, Galen Bartles, just jumps on it and sits down. So down the bottom of the screen is Valine, and Rogers up top is Banks. Lone back Schmitz. Hand it goes to Schmitz, and he just slips down there on that play. Rogers and Banks top of the screen, and Schmitz the lone back. Banks hard back to pass, under pressure, loses a few, goes out to Schmitz at the 30-yard line, gets to 35, 40, and down at about the 43-yard line. So great scrambling ability there by Russ Harvey to get it off to Greg Schmidt to pick up about a 6-yard gain. So 3rd down and 4 for the Lopers of Kearney State. Harvey back to pass again, and just out of the reach of Valine, and he takes a wicked hit there by number 40, Dave Savela from Lincoln, Nebraska. Kearney State now will punt. So Banger is in there for the first time. And you see the line picking out their assignments, who they're going to block on this play. Banger's punt is up and taken there by the Bearcats number 21, Heath Parker. So that's where the Bearcats will take over. Pull out right, there is Glorios. Left is Ellis. Slot back is Hindis. The backs are Tilson and Johnson. Wilson back to pass. He'll keep it himself. He'll run it 35 to 40. Darren Gunn's there and brings him down and keeps him in bounds. That's the main thing before this clock runs out. The bone formation. Ellis put out way to the right side. Handoff goes to Wilson. He breaks a few tackles. He jukes it outside. And Greg Smith is there to hold on and help the Lopers. And that will be the end of the first half here at Foster Field. The score is at 28-21. We'll be joined with this second half.
I'm Leslie Nielsen, and this is something I know about personally. That's back injuries. It can be very painful and debilitating. Now, here's some of the ways to prevent them. Use a chair with proper support, especially in the lower back. Get up and move around every 20 minutes or so. Lift the right way. Knees bent, back straight. Tighten the stomach muscles. Push up with your legs. Exercise your stomach muscles. They can save your back from too much stress. Now, if the back pain is severe or persistent, then see your doctor. This is a message from the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
We'll be joined in the second half with Rich Broderson on color for the second half of Loper action.
6-yard line. So far this afternoon, Nolan Byer has 28 yards after 8 carries. So he looks to be on the way to a mighty impressive game running. So 2nd down and 8 for the Lopers, the ball on the Fort Hays State 48-yard line. All 3 receivers here on the near side. Banks, Valine, and Rogers is the slot back. The lone back is Byer. Harvey's going to be back to pass again. He's looking for a receiver. Decides to take it underneath and run with it. He skips 1 tackle and gets down at the 40-yard line and just might be enough for a first down. We'll have to see. He was brought down there by the Fort Hays State player, number 47, Rick Ashbrenner. Though they say he does not have it, so it'll be 3rd down and 1, the ball on the 41-yard line. And right now the defensive coverage of the Fort Hays State Tigers seem to be covering the receivers real well and making Russ Harvey decide to keep it under, take it under his arm and run with it if he can't find a receiver. 3 receivers again here on the near side. Byer lone back. Harvey hands up to Byer. He ducks under, and I don't think he got the first down. He stopped. That by number 68, Kevin Weber. And they bring in, Banger comes in, and they'll punt it away to Fort Hays. The deep back for the Tigers is number 7, Kevin Pierre. So real unusual there by Nolan Byer's great running ability, not to pick up that first down, but then a compliment goes to the defensive line of Fort Hays. A lot of shuffling. Simmons comes in. Ford will come out. The ball is on the Tiger 41-yard line. Banger to punt. Gets caught up in the wind and touchdown there at the 21 there by number 12, Steve Simmons. So a 14-yard punt by Dave Bangert, and I'll bring in the Fort Hays State Tiger offense. Edwards still in at quarterback. So they'll take over after. Let's see, Fort Hays State needs to get something really going here. They've been turned away twice, one of those on DJ Voklek's interception. The receiver comes to the near side. There's number 30, Kenny Cradle. And in the I formation, Funkhauser is the fullback and Rivera is the I back. Pitch goes Rivera to the far side. He skips 1 tackle by Gunn and brought down by DJ Voklek. And also another loper there on the tackle, number 69, Dan Fox. So pickup of 7 yards on the play. Make that 8 yards, excuse me. So we're going to 2nd down and 2. The ball resting on the 34-yard line. It's kind of tough to pick up where the ball is being spotted with the snow still a little bit on the ground. So again, the unbalanced line. Handoff goes for Rivera to the far side. A flag on the play. And when they have to then stack the players, they'll see what the penalty will be called. A 6-yard gain there by Rivera. And we have holding on Fort Hays State. So a nice run by Rivera is nullified and will be probably, I assume, be taken back. Again, a very chilly day here at Foster Field. Many of the players now that they're out in the field have probably warmed up after keeping going and getting wet. But when they come off the field, though, they get the jackets right on and stay warm. Don't need any injury. These are the type of games where injuries are probable with it being this cold. So 2nd down and 10. The ball is on the 26-yard line. Again, the I formation. Number 30 here on the near side is Copeland, Revere, and Funkhauser in the backfield. Funkhauser the fullback, Revere the I back. Edwards hands off to Rivera. And looks like Edwards will come out of the quarterback, and Brian Marion is in at quarterback number 9 there on your TV screen. Brian Marion. Ritter brings the play in for Marion. And Zugingas goes out. Cradle here on the near side. In the I formation again is Funkhauser and Rivera. Handoff goes to Rivera, coming to you in the screen, and brought down by number 55, Darren Gunn. Great pursuit by Darren Gunn. So there'll be no gain on the play. They'll bring it 4th down, and the punting unit will come on for the Tigers. Reuter will do the punting for the Tigers. So defense again does their job well. 3 plays and out for the Tigers, and Reuter will do the punting. The deep backs for the Lopers is Rogers and Banks. Rogers there on the far side, Banks closest to you. A fake, and Rivera, and they did not get it. So they tried the fake. So looks like they'll be short on the 1st down on that fake. Number 35, Gary Hannes, tried to get the 1st down marker, and they're not sure. They'll probably bring the chains in across the field and make sure. Kearney State was bringing 7 players on the line. They had Greg Smith back just in case. One thing Coach Borov did say in his weekly television show is that they were always prepared and ready for a fake punt. As the chains come across, we'll see if they pick up 1st down. A lot of the coaches on the Loper side don't believe they got it, and they did not get it, as you can see from the reaction on the sidelines of Kearney. So Russ Harvey and the troops will come back to the field and see if they can go down the field and put one in for 6 points. So one thing that the coach of Fort Hays has to do is must have a lot of confidence in his defense if he's going to try plays like that. The head coach is Bob Cortese of the Fort Hays. Harvey under center. He'll hand off to Byer. He'll take it the middle, cut to the left side, and just ridden down at about the 34-yard line. So on the tackle, number 55 for the Tigers, that is Andy Adkins, and also Rick Brenner. So 2nd down and 9, the ball resting on the 34-yard line, 8:50 left to go until halftime. Wide to the right side is Rogers and Banks. Wide left is Valine. Byer again loaned back the same set we've seen so far this afternoon. Harvey must have been changed the count. He'll sprint out to the far side and hit Banks at the 20-yard line for a 1st down. Doug Banks was covered there by a great defender, number 27 on the defender. That is Mike Allen, and Harvey just threaded the needle and got it to Banks and was pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So 1st down 10 for the Lopers. So 1st down and 10, like I said, the ball on the 20. Same 3 receivers in the core of Banks, Feline, and Rogers. Handoff goes to Byers. He'll find a hole and maybe a gain of 1, if that. So as you're seeing so far this game, the defensive line seem to be, like I said before, coming up, giving a different look, then backing off, or starting off back, and then as the Harvey's making his count, they slowly start creeping up to the line and stuff the holes that maybe Russ saw that was open to make that call. Mike Long at tight end for the Lopers. Lost it up for Valine, and he's out of bounds and incomplete. Valine was on field coverage there by Rick Masters, number 3, and Masters just let Valine run down there, and they kept backing up, and soon they ran out of territory for the touchdown area. So 3rd down and 10, the ball's still on the 20-yard line, and this is one thing you got to be looking at if you're either the coach or one of the players. You're down deep into Fort Hays State territory, and you can't really get anything going, and might, again, settle for a field goal. Again, Byer, the lone, is back. He comes in motion to the left side. He hits Byer, and he's out at the 15-yard line. A flag on the play. A lot of those times in those plays, it looked like one of the Fort Hays State players was taken out with a block below the waist. We'll have to see, and it is. A blocking below the waist on the Lopers. The ball was on the 20, and that will take them back to the 32-yard line. So a repeat of 3rd down. And be 3rd down and 21. The ball is on the 31-yard line. Bobby Irwin in at receiver now, number 2. He's to the far side with Valine in the middle. Rogers is the 31 in the slot back. Banks here on the near side. 4 receivers now. Harvey back to pass. All day to pass and overthrows Bobby Irwin. It looked like Bobby Irwin was being hung on to by number 28, Mike Allen. So with 4th down 21, Bangert will come in to punt to number 7, Kevin Pierre. So Bangert will have to use his punting skills to get the ball deep in within the 10, because if it goes in the end zone, they're only going to be losing 10 yards, actually a 10-yard punt. So Bangert kicks it. It takes a Fort Hays roll, and number 8 there for the Lopers was there to take the ball down and hold it. That's Matt Sheffers, excuse me. So the ball is down at the 16-yard line, and Fort Hays State will take over. Again, coming at quarterback is number 9, Brian Maring. So Edwards, I'm not sure if Edwards is hurt or they're just going to try to use different quarterbacks till they find a steady one, but number 9 in there now is Maring. Rivera, Funkhauser, and Zagingas in the backfield. The unbalanced line is the one of the right. Handoff goes to Funkhauser, and he's just carrying Lopers again, and finally ridden down by number 28, Greg Smith. So Funkhauser seems to be really carrying the load, so to speak, for the Tigers. He took his 7 Lopers to finally bring him down, and he carried many of them on his back. So great leg strength and determination by Richard Funkhauser, number 40. 6:48 left to go in the second quarter. Score is Kearney State 3, Fort Hays State 0. Fort Hays State has the ball on the 26-yard line. Again, unbalanced line and balanced side. The strong side is the far side. Handoff goes to Rivera. He'll go to that side. And a stack of blue jerseys will give that tackle to one of them on the tackle is number 37, Shannon Hansen. And we'll just decide to give him to the rest of the defense because they were all there on great pursuit on Rivera. Second down and 7, the ball on the 29, picked up for 3 yards there by Rivera. Zagunas, Funkhauser, and Rivera in the backfield. Handoff goes to Funkhauser right up the middle, and a gain of possibly 1 or 2 yards. So that'll be 3rd down and 5. Bring up 3rd down and 5. Tim Arntz goes in. Shannon Hansen and Pat Witovic come out. 5:10 left to go until halftime. Marion at quarterback. Reuter, Funkhauser, Rivera. Handoff goes to Funkhauser right up the middle and brought down, and a fumble, and Kearney State football. Richard Funkhauser fumbled the ball, so they're giving looks like they're giving the ball back to the Lopers. One of the officials says he was down, one said Loper football. They're discussing it out right now and see what the call will be. The referees this afternoon the referee is Fred Hutchinson of Omaha. The crew members is Jill Janowski, Joe Bateman, Tom Walker, Paul Weisman of Omaha, and Rich McGill of Fremont. So the signal is still Fort Hays football. That brings up 1st down and 10 for the Tigers. Zagunas all in the backfield. Handoff goes to Funkhauser. He jumps across the line, brought down by number 23, Greg Nayberry, number 28, Greg Smith, and also number 48, Dan Robbins. The backs are Reuter, Funkhauser, and Zagunas, and with most of the work on the shoulders of Funkhauser. This would be a great opportunity for the Tigers to get something on the board and kind of get their offensive rolling. Marion looks over the Loper defense, goes hand up to Funkhauser again, takes the right side, and brought down by Smith, Boklek, Gunn, and number 90, Witovic. So they'll probably bring in the chains to see if it is a 1st down. As the chains come across to see if they pick up the 1st down, you have to give a lot of credit to Funkhauser on a day like this. He's doing what he's been told, when asked to do, and again, 1st down 10. Funkhauser has really taken the load of the running game on his own shoulders and decided if we can't get things going in the passing game or the defense is holding us, I'll get in there and try to punctuate a few yards and pick up 1st downs when I'm called upon. And if I break one free, I break one free. So 1st down 10, the ball on the 37-yard line. Handoff goes to Revere to the left side. A pick up about 3 yards for Damond Rivera. As you see there on your screen, number 77 for the Tigers, Ron Staten, was kind of laying on Marvin Watts of Kearney, and the coaches are really kind of upset about that on the Kearney State side. 23, Nayberry, asking Coach Renner what actually defense said, or asking for some tips out there. So the ball on the 45-yard line, 50-yard line. Revere takes it out across the 40, down at the 38-yard line. Another 1st down for the Tigers of Fort Hays State. Again, the Tigers are really blowing the defensive line of Kearney and getting a bunch of holes open for the running backs, but they just really can't seem to get the momentum enough to punch it in the end zone. But this drive, they are doing a great job of driving the ball down the field. 2 minutes, 39 seconds left to go until halftime. Marion, the quarterback. Handoff goes to Funkhauser to the left side. He stood up and brought down at the 36-yard line. In on the tackle is Tim Arns, number 44, and Dan Robbins, number 48, and Darren Gunn, number 55. Hanson and Watts come out. So Fort Hays State taking a long time to get this offense ready to keep rolling. The coach for Fort Hays State, Bob Cortez might want to think about a no-huddle offense. Handoff goes to Revere to the left side. Just missed there by number 69. Dan Fox just missed Revere by the shoestring, and Vokalek got the tackle. So third down and about 3. The ball resting on like a 30.5-yard line. Rivera has 67 yards so far this afternoon. Ball on the 30.5-yard line. Rivera, Funkhauser, and Fort Hays State calls timeout, and so are we. You're watching football, Kearney State football on KCV Channel 25. We'd like to take this time to thank Killian Motors, Bogart's Food Stores, Kearney State Bank, the Big Apple, and the Platte Valley State Bank for bringing this game to you, the fans of Kearney State football.
Want to do something really, really nice for your friends? Next time you go out with them, if they're going to be drinking alcohol, offer to be the designated driver for the evening. That means you stick to non-alcoholic drinks and drive everyone home safely. Next time, one of them can do the same thing for you. You could be saving them from being arrested or having a serious accident. You could even be saving their lives. Now that's what I call a friend. For more information on drinking and driving, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
Welcome back to Foster Field. I'm Kevin Feldonic bringing you the contest between the Kearney State Lopers and the Fort Hays State Tigers. The score is, with 1:10 left to go until halftime, Kearney State 3, Lopers 0. Right there, Marion hands off to Funkhauser, and he might have enough for a first down. Right there, Darren Gunn did a great job of meeting Funkhauser straight on and bringing him down. One of the few times this afternoon that you have seen one Loper bring down number 40, Richard Funkhauser. 1 minute 5 left to go. Estes comes out. Well, in the I formation is Funkhauser and Revere. Funkhauser takes it, upended by Tim Arson, number 44, and a pickup of maybe a half yard or a yard, if that. So Tim Arson did a great job of getting across the initial line of scrimmage and getting in the backfield to upend Rivera. Fort Hays State again takes another timeout with 40 seconds left to go in the second quarter. So one thing the Kearney State defense has to be looking out for is either a quick pass or also the run again. Funkhauser seems to be the person to really carry the load, like we've said all afternoon, carry the load for the Tigers. And he has that capability to get through the line and break one for a touchdown. To kind of recap what happened so far this afternoon, kind of a little different first half, is Fort Hays State took the opening kickoff and couldn't get anything going, so they had a punt to Lopers. Banks did a great job, had a 14-yard punt return. Lopers came in, had a long drive, got deep into Fort Hays State territory, but couldn't get things across, so Darren Grouse came in to attempt a field goal, and that field goal was blocked. Then after that, after a holding call on second down, Fort Hays State did a quick kick and kind of caught Kearney off guard, but it didn't make a difference, and then Kearney got on the ball. So back to action here with 40 seconds left to go in the second half. Revere goes in motion. Marion will try to pass. He hits number 30, Kenny Cradle, and down at the 17-yard line. 34 seconds left to go. 34 seconds. They do stop the clock. First down 10. They move the chains. Marion tries to set the offense. And they restart the clock down to 30 seconds. So Bob Gortis, the head coach, is out on the field knowing that they lost some precious time. The clock is running again. Marion back to pass again. Underthrows Cradle. So it falls incomplete. Down to 25 seconds left to go in the first half. So second down 10 for the Tigers. The ball on the 18-yard line. Marion is looking over to his coaches to see what the play they want the play to be. Number 48, John Reuter, brings in the play to the quarterback, Brian Marion, number 9. Cradle comes out to this near side along with number 48, John Reuter, and Revere, the slot back. The lone back is Funkhauser. Revere goes in motion in the backfield. Handoff goes to Revere. He cuts it right back to the middle and stuffed by Gunn of the Lopers. So great job by the defense again, rising to the occasion and stopping the offense of Fort Hays. 17 seconds left to go in the first half, and there seems to be a little discrepancy on the field. They'll bring up third down and 10. Timeout, Fort Hays State. One thing last few games, if you have watched or have come to see the Lopers play, is the defense in crucial situations rise to the occasion and tend to stop the attempt of a scoring or a first down. Last week, the Lopers were leading 33-28 in the closing minutes of the football game and shut Shattern down twice. One was on a Greg Smith quarterback sack, and another one was a great defensive surge and a block by the defensive line. So, and the week before that, when they were at Wayne, that was kind of a long blowout, so to speak, of Wayne. But when they played here at home last time, the defense had to slow down the New Mexico Highlands, and New Mexico was on a scoring drive at the 12-yard line until the Lopers turned them away by sacking the quarterback and a pass falling incomplete. So back to the action, and the defense again will be called upon to do some good work out there. 17 seconds left to go. Third down 10, the ball on the 18. Marion back to pass, looking for a receiver. The receiver number 30, Kenny Cradle, incomplete. And great defensive coverage there by number 18 for the Lopers, Mike Arnold. Mike Arnold, defensive back, 5'11", 189, a senior from David City. Did a great job of defending their receiver, Cradle, out there and knocking the pass incomplete. So Fort Hays State, with 12 seconds left, will attempt a field goal. Their place kicker is number 16, Roy Miller, will attempt a 34-yard field goal. Kick is up, and it's good. So with 8 seconds left to go until halftime, Roy Miller ties the score at 3-all. You're watching exciting Loper football on KSTV Channel 25. We'll be back with the final 8 seconds of the first half.
I'm Leslie Nielsen, and this is something I know about personally. That's back injuries. It can be very painful and debilitating. Now, here's some of the ways to prevent them. Use a chair with proper support, especially in the lower back. Get up and move around every 20 minutes or so. Lift the right way. Knees bent, back straight. Tighten the stomach muscles. Push up with your legs. Exercise your stomach muscles. They can save your back from too much stress. Now, if the back pain is severe or persistent, then see your doctor. This is a message from the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
Welcome back to Foster Field. The score is the Kearney State Lopers 3, the Fort Hays State Tigers 3. 8 seconds left to go in the first half. I'm Kevin Sladovnik, bringing this game back to you. You can watch this game again on Wednesday night at 6:30. And immediately following that game will be the Claire Boroff Show. We'll hear comments from Coach Boroff and one of his players about this week's game against Fort Hays State. 15 plays on that scoring drive of Fort Hays. The kick goes to Verlaine. He brings it here to the near side, looking for his wall. Finds his wall and is tripped up by one of his own players and down at about the 33-yard line. So 1 second left to go in the first half. I'll give Russ Harvey one attempt to make something happen. So I assume either Russ Harvey will just kneel it down and don't really want anything bad to happen, or he'll try to air it out and get as far as he can, and maybe a pass interference and a field goal before the half. And Harvey does the smartest thing and just knees it down. So at the end of the first half, the Kearney State Lopers and the Fort Hays State Tigers are all tied up at 3 apiece. You're watching Loper football on KSTV, channel 25. When we come back, we'll have a look at first half stats and the start of the second half. Welcome back to Foster Field. I'm Kevin Dominic with Rich Butterson. The score at halftime is your Kearney State Lopers 28, the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats 21. And Rich, that first half we saw the passing game and running game for Kearney State to really come together and be a real trouble for the Bearcats. And also then on the other side of that coin is the Bearcats running game was trouble for our defense.
Well, Kevin, with both ways as the coin was flipped, I mean, both teams were coming out with equal performance, defensive-wise both ways. But so there's one more thing extra for the Lopers. It's the passing game. Luckily, you know, they had that one play that scored for a touchdown in the passing with Ellison. But when that happened, they scored. And that's when they get the 28-21 with a 7-point lead at the halftime. And you just have to keep on your toes. This team will come out and hit you with something that you're unaware of. And that's what Kearney State saw there on that last play.
Right. That was a... so, why don't you run down through the first half statistics there, Rich, and get those people caught up with what is actually going on out there on the football field.
Okay, very well, Kevin. And the scoring percentage, as we see, 28-21, the Lopers are on top. In first downs category, the Lopers are over 4 of the... what it actually is. They had 16 first downs in the first half as compared to the 12 for Northwest Missouri State.
Do you drink more when you feel under pressure?
When sober, do you often regret what you've said or done while drinking? Have you failed to keep promises you made to yourself about cutting down on drinking? We have 26 questions that can tell you whether it's alcoholism that's tearing up your life. 26 questions with one big answer to your problems.
For your free pamphlet, call your local affiliate of the National Council on Alcoholism, or toll free 1-800-NCA-CALL.
Asia has so many people who are hungry and sick. You may think any help we would give them would just be a drop in the bucket, but each drop can make a ripple of hope. Lutheran World Relief has shown that by working together, we can provide knowledge and resources that help people overcome their poverty, grow more food, and improve health care. If enough of us put a drop in the bucket, it will overflow. A message from the Lutheran churches in your community and Lutheran World Relief.
Northwest Missouri State's leading the yardage category with 285 yards. And in fumbles, nothing has been attributed to the turnovers to the department except the interceptions. And in penalties, the Lopers has one penalty for 10 yards. That was the offside call. And then one for 15 yards. That was a unsportsmanlike contact against the Northwest Missouri State. And the Lopers are holding the ball more than Northwest Missouri State. And Lopers are holding it 15 minutes and 46 seconds compared to the 14 minutes and 14 seconds Northwest Missouri State. For Kearney State College, the leading rusher is Greg Schmidt. He's rushed attempts 7 times for 25 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his longest run has been 7 yards. And the second leading rusher is Russ Harvey, the quarterback, 4 attempts for 31 yards, no touchdowns, and his longest run is 17 yards. In passing, Harvey is doing pretty well. 28 attempts for 18 completions, 2 interceptions for 195 yards, and 1 touchdown to Omar Rogers, that is. And in pass receiving, Banks, 5 times he's caught the ball for 74 yards, no touchdowns, and 29 yards. Long reception was his longest. For Travis William, same way. He caught the ball 5 times for 60 yards, and his longest, no touchdown, that is, and his longest catch was for 16 yards. And Omar Rogers has 1 touchdown, only receiving touchdown yet in this game. He's caught the ball 4 times for 25 yards, and his longest was 12 yards, and that was that touchdown pass. In punting, Maynard has kicked once, and that's pretty good to see for the Lopers, and his average is 32, and his longest is 32. For Northwest Missouri State U, Tillison is the leading rusher for them for 13 attempts, really running really well in today's game, with 13 attempts for 115 yards. He's broke the 100. And in passing, Wilson has attempted 3, and 2 passes have been completed, and 1 interception, 54 yards, 1 touchdown. In pass receiving, you can't believe this fullback. He's back in action at the receiving category. He's caught 1 ball for 22 yards, and his longest is 22 yards. And Ellis is the one who scored the touchdown on the at the end of the half, and with the long catch of 32, along with his longest as well. And in punting, it's Gray, and he's quick twice, and his longest is a 58-yard punt, and he's been doing pretty in the kick, and his average is 43.5.
Rich, getting back to the passing and running yardage, it looks like in that yardage comparison, you said Kearney has 81-yard total rushing, whereas Northwest Missouri has 281 yards. Then look at the passing. Kearney has 195 and Northwest has 54, so it actually is a well-balanced attack. They outweigh us in one category, but then we outweigh in the other. So in a way, you can almost say this game is really nip and tuck, even as the scoreboard does show.
Yeah, it's just, it's the passing is working for the Lopers, and the running is so-so. And then it's for the Northwest Missouri State University Bearcats. The running game's the only thing that's working for them right now, on the exception of a couple pass plays that has hurt the Lopers.
Right. Well, and going back that one, like you mentioned, it was the interception that Russ Harvey threw as he was being chased out of bounds, which, in my opinion, he probably should have never thrown it. But then again, you can't speculate from up here in the booth. And then the interception down here, they were scoring on their second possession, and then Omar missed the catch. Had actually fumbled a little bit and had tipped, and then they number 1 Jason Agee intercepted and ran it back about 8 yards. So there's 2 mistakes that Kearney did have, or this game could be 42-21.
Yeah, so far the Lopers are doing what they want to do. They're attributing to the factor of what Coach Boroff, and going into the locker room, changes and things that they might do, and I don't think there was many changes that they had to go with to work out the kinks and stretches in this last game of the season. I think the Lopers are doing what the coaches wanted to do at the first of the game. There might be a 1 or 2 thing they probably want to switch, but that's about it.
Yeah, probably one of those things they do want to key on it during the halftime. I'd guess would be the option play, the dives that just kind of try to contain Tillison a little bit more. Number 34 out there, Ed Tillison, and that's probably the only really main concern they had. When they went deep, there was a mix-up on coverage on when Ellis caught that ball for a touchdown. Besides that, like you said, 1 or 2 things they got changed, but not much at all. And their primary one probably had to be trying to stop the running back. We're underway here at Foster Field again. Number 15, Cronin took the opening kickoff, took it back 15 yards to the 25-yard line, and that's where the Bearcats will take over for the first time in the second half. The score again here at halftime was 28-21, Kearney State winning.
He found a hole, Lathrop did, on the left side, but the Lopers converged into making a good stop at the 25-yard line. And now it's the Loper D. They rested up, and they're ready to go and see if they keep it up in this second half.
In the bone is Tillison at fullback. Handoff goes to Tillison off the right side. He takes up the middle for about 4 yards, so great. They're just coming right back where they their strong point was towards the end of the second half, was just hand the ball to Tilson, let him give 4 yards, 4 or 5 yards a carry, and that's how they'll kind of run on the back of Ed Tilson this afternoon.
That's one bad thing, you know, that a defensive player would hate to do is, you know, when they try to do the tackle, they hit on the back, and they all of a sudden, you know, that gives a little momentum to the runner. And the way to do it is just take him head on, front force, you know, and try to stop him at the line, you know, and just trying to, the offensive line for the Bearcats is doing pretty well so far.
Wilson changed the signal. Hand off again to Tillison. Fumble on the play. And recovered again by the Bearcats. And it looks like that Wilson got back on the ball, so the Bearcats will remain on the offense of attack.
Just barely recovered by number 48, Dan Robbins, and the number 44, Tim Arts. The ball was right there loose when number 55, Darren Gunn, put a helmet right on the ball where Ed Tilson was holding it, and loose for the ball, but luckily Jeremy Wilson for the Bearcats was right in the vicinity, and he got the fumble recovery.
They broke the bone. Back to pass is Wilson. Wilson looking for Ellis. Hits Ellis at the 45-yard line. He's driven out of bounds and thrown down by number 22, Dave Bangert of Kearney State.
Good catch by Ellison on his part. 15-yard catch reception. All he did is just a quick out, and the ball is right there, right on the sideline where he catch it, put his feet down. Good ability for that for Ellison. And first down and 10, and it stops the clock.
First down 10, the ball on the 40, well, we could say the 45-yard line. 13:25 left in the third quarter. Back in the bone is Tillison, the fullback, Hindis, the I-back, and Johnson, the other back. Ellis is to the near side. Handoff goes to Tillison, right the middle, and he gets down to the 40-yard line, so pick up of 15 yards there for number 34, Ed Tillison. Ed Tillison is a junior, 6 foot 225 from Pearl River, Louisiana.
Gosh, can you believe this guy? How many yards is he making so far? 134 yards with 13-12 in the third quarter. He might have a 200 game.
It
could. It is over.
It could be a 200-yard gain for Tillison. Tillison goes out to rest a little bit. It's still in the bone. Handoff goes to Johnson right up the middle, and he escapes one tackle, but Smith tripped him up. Vokalek tripped him up enough where he did come down.
16-yard gain for Johnson. Joseph, that is. Joseph Johnson.
Royal Peterson, number 19, was the other halfback in there. He goes out, and Tillison comes back in. Also going out was Johnson.
And Joseph Johnson, he wasn't really a major factor in the game in the first half. And right now, he's just broke his 16-yarder, and that's about his longest run of the day as well.
Tillison, Hindis, and Crone in the backfield. Double tight end set for the Bearcat. Handoff goes to Hindis, and he gets across the 19 down to the 17-yard line. So pick up about 2 yards for Hindis and the Bearcats.
Just a quick play right up the middle. As the I-back give just right up the middle. Try to follow your fullback. He'll make a hole for you. And he goes in. A good play by the linebacker core of Arts, Robbins, and also Darren Gunn. They all converged in, and they all put a good stop on the block.
Again, the same backfield of Hindis, Cronin, and Tillison in the backfield. Wilson calling the count. Fakes the hand up to Tillison. He follows Tillison right up the middle and gets down to the 10-yard line. So why not follow the person who's picking up a lot of yardage? You'll get a lot yourself if you do follow him.
Good hard run. I mean, 6 yards of hard muscle power trying to get the first down, and he did.
Estes goes in for the Lopers, and Ortmeyer will check out. About first down and 10, the ball on the 10.5-yard line. So they'll need to go get down to about the half-yard line for a first down. Handoff goes to Tillison. He gets about 2 yards before he's wrapped up by a group of Lopers, one of them being number 52, Gary Estes. And number 48, Dan Robbins.
Nice to see Estes back in there. I mean, that's the first time we called his name in today's game.
Yeah, like we said, Ortmeyer did come out and Estes checked back in. Estes is a nose guard, 5'11", 220 freshman. Tilson, the fullback. Henderson Johnson in there. Handoff goes to Tilson out across the 5 down to 4, where Greg Smith brought him down.
A gain of 5 for Tilson on that play, and right now the Lopers need to suck it up. They're right down the goal line, and they're knocking right on the door.
Yeah, they are, and that's, you don't know if you really want to see that. And a coaching standpoint, they came out, they're just kind of just running. There has not been one pass play, I believe, on this drive, Rich, and they're just running it right down the middle, right down the throats of the defense of Kearney State. 3rd down and 3, the ball on the 3.5. Handoff goes to Hindus. Hindus takes it in. Touchdown, the Bearcats, Northwest Missouri State University. And they will pull the score within 1 with 10:09 left to go. And prime example, Rich, I always thought that a 14-point lead, a 21-point lead would be good enough for Kearney State to maintain it and end up winning the game. But I've been proven wrong so far, and they're running the ball right down our throats.
What did I say back in the first half?
That's what I alluded to.
That's just something you have to watch out with this teams that Kearney State's play. I mean, it's just comeback society around here, and right now it's going to be tied.
Goddard in to attempt the extra point, and it is good. So with 10:09 left to go, the score here at Foster Field is all tied up between Kearney State Lopers and the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats at 28 apiece. And head coach for the Bearcats, Bud Elliott, has been real pleased with this team's performance so far. They never have given up. They have came back and under conditions, you're away from home. They're 2-7-1, and they're not going to say die.
That's absolutely right, Kevin. I mean, it's just it's the last home game, as you alluded to, and you come to a game and you're down 14, then they come back right before half and score and make it a 7-point game, and here they come out with the 10:09 left in the 3rd quarter and they score. What can you say? They're pumped, and they did probably do a little changing in the locker room, what to work on, and what plays that were really working for them. What the plays that were really working for them were, the fullback give right up the middle of the Tilson.
And he's been carrying the load so far this afternoon. Well, thinking about head coach of the Bearcats, Bud Elliott, he's in his 3rd year here at Northwest Missouri State, his 23rd year of coaching. His overall record is 123 wins, 110 losses, and 7 ties. His record as a Bearcat over his 3-year stint is 13-19-1. So he's looking to be 14-19-1 at the end of this football game. Goddard ready to kick off. Deep back is Banks and Valine. It will squib down to Valine at the 16-yard line where he picks it up. He gets a block and hit by number 35 for the Bearcats, Lance Miller.
Just a little squib down there. I mean, you don't want to get these dangerous guys to run it back against them. And then we have shown that. Valine has, actually. And, it's played by Bud Elliott, the coach over there, just to squib it, and that's a big thing.
So Russ Harvey will take over the offense here.
You don't need that coat, Kevin. I mean, you have to slim down a little bit, don't you? No.
Yeah. Harvey under center, all receivers out to the far side. Rogers, Valine, Banks, and Schmidt's the lone back. Oh, hands up to Schmidt. It goes inside, goes out the left side, though, and is tripped by number 28 for the Bearcats, Wes Henning.
Just joking. Not to be overpowerful here now. No. You're a really good shape guy, Kev, so don't worry. That's a good run by Schmitz. I mean, just to get it out there and outside, try to gain as much yards. And all those Bearcats, they converged. They ran with the play, and there they had the tackle, and that's where they hit him down. A gain of 9, but Schmitz, so far, playing a good game so far. 2 touchdowns on the day.
And he's going to end up going out of Kearney State Loper on a positive note. He hopes, if he can all help. A quick out to Rogers. Rogers holds on to it, spins off a tackle, and gains about 4 yards after the initial hit. So great, tough running there by Omar Rogers. On 18 on the tackle for the Bearcats was Julian Brown. adding to his total tackle tally so far this afternoon. We mentioned he did, coming into this game, he had 56 total tackles. That takes him up so far this afternoon. I have him down for 5 tackles. So it takes him to 61 tackles so far this year. And I'm sure he'll add more the rest of the game. 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter. First down 10, the ball on the 45-yard line. Harvey under center. And looks like we'll have offside. The left side of the Kearney State line looked like he moved. More specifically, number 67 for the Lopers on that movement was Pat Shaben.
Flags is really not a flag factor here. I mean, actually, the officials haven't even been in this game at all. I mean, right now, we don't want to see them start right now. I mean, it's just the way it is. But it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, first down. It's going to hinder them 5 yards. I think the Lopers will come back with a passing play and get it up all again.
Yeah, but you really never want to see as a coach. You never want to see the penalty going against you. That's just another obstacle you got to overcome on this drive. First down and 15. The ball on the 40-yard line for the Lopers. All receivers on the far side left. Back to pass is Harvey. Fakes once, going for Valine, and overthrew Valine by about 6 yards. Valine split his defenders of Agee and Miller and was all alone for 6 points if Harvey could have connected on that pass.
Very close of being touchdown history in the making for the Lopers. I mean, that's twice, actually 3 times. Harvey's overthrown some receivers, twice to Banks and now Valine here. And if that was right on the money, I mean, Valine had him beat. If that ball was right there, he would have been run into the goal and touchdown.
So Banks here on the right side, Rogers and Valine on the left side. Schmidt's the lone back. Harvey begin back to pass, getting great protection. Has to scramble out, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's got to get rid of it. Hit Schmidt, and the pass will fall incomplete, and that's probably the best thing you could ask for right there, Rich. He went back 25 yards. Schmidt was open to 15 or at the 25-yard line. He threw to him. Schmidt fell down, and luckily that ball was incomplete because that would have been a 15-yard loss, and they would have been have to go. That would have been abrupt third down and 20.
In that case, incompletion was better than a completion. I mean, you don't want to go back there. It's a good way to use that once in a while.
It might hurt your average, but that's all right in this case. Receivers on the left side. Here comes. Hit those up to Valine on the slant. He skips one tackle and brought down about the 44-yard line.
Lance Miller gave chase once again to Harvey, and nobody blocked him. And Harvey's talking to Coach Boroff. He says, "What am I supposed to do with someone coming right and huffing and puffing down my neck?" And so now it's a 4th down and 11 or 10.
One team that really liked to blitz was Fort Hays State last week, and Kearney did a great job picking them up. And this might have just been a little miscommunication between the left side of the offensive line of Kearney, where Miller came in untouched. Bangert comes in to punt on 4th and 11. A nice kick comes down at the 18-yard line, where Parker takes it, and he's brought out of bounds by number 12, Steve Simmons, and number 40, Mike Montgomery.
Well, let's see if the Lopers D can do something here. They need to hold them 4 downs and out. 3 downs and out, that's actually, something like that. It'd be really a helpful deal so the Lopers can get good field position with the ball.
Another thing we should mention that I'm sure you have from the outset is today is Parents' Day here at Kearney State College. A lot of parents coming out to see their students at school, plus their sons out there playing, their daughters being the cheerleaders. So good turnout here this afternoon for the last game of the season for the Loper football team. Wilson in at quarterback. Tilson, handoff goes to Tilson at the left side, and there was Gunning on the tackle, fumble, and looks like they'll call him down. Garland Bryant came up with the ball, but they will give the ball back to the Bearcats.
Very, very close for Tilson to fumble that ball. I mean, it was down the ground, but official Millsap said it was, right there, and it was down already. So Bearcats get a breath of air to relieve themselves. Lopers are wishing the call would have went it the other way.
So 2nd down and 7, the ball on the 28-yard line for the Bearcats. Wilson at quarterback. Tillison, Johnson, and Hins in the backfield. Handoff goes, fake handoff to Tillison, but Wilson just with a fumble. Fumble on the play again, and it looks like it will be Kearney football. And number 37 for the Lopers comes up with the football. That's Shannon Hansen. Wilson fake handed off to Tillison, and then handed off to Johnson. And when Johnson got hit, he let go. He fumbled the ball. Wilson jumped on it, but then when he jumped on the ball, squirted loose again, and Hansen came up with the football. So great field position for the Lopers on this turnover. They're at the 22-yard line of the Bearcats.
Not to be critical, but that was very close of him being down and someone just hitting him late, you know, and that could not have been a fumble there. I mean, he's just, but we don't have this to replay, and I don't care about it. The Lopers ball. Way to go. Here we go.
Here on the right side is Banks and Rogers. Left side out wide is Valine. Back to pass. A slant to Valine at the 12-yard line, and he's brought down by Agee, and we have an injured player. Looks like on the slow getting up for the Bearcats is number 5, Dave Wheeler.
Good 10-yard play to get the first down there. And they're looking at the chains. They're going to see if this is a first down or 10. They might. Yep, they're going to.
They needed to get the 12-yard line, excuse me, Rich, and it looks like he came down at about the 12. We'll have to see a lot of players around him again. And it looks like he might be inches short of a first down. We can't see really well with Russ Harvey and Savela there. There they moved, and it looks like to me from this vantage point that it is just enough for a first down.
Just barely.
One thing, last week it was really close like that, and official had to take out a white card out of his back pocket and lay it right down on the chain for a first down and see if the nose of the ball touched that card. But this one was not. It wasn't as close.
It was 1/16 of a pigskin skin.
So here are all receivers here on this right side. Spitz in motion to the left side. Harvey back to pass, looking for Rogers on a spin, catches an 8, and dives across, touchdown, Omar Rogers. Great athletic ability, number 31, Omar Rogers, to get up high enough, go over the defenders of number 28, Wes Henning, and number 35, Lance Miller, and come down with the touchdown.
Can you believe how high he got his vertical jump up and over to defensive Agee and Miller, and touchdown number 2 for Omar Rogers, both on pass plays, might add, and that comes at 6:02 left in the third quarter, and nobody, he went in, started at the right slot back, went in a little bit toward the line, came out, get the pass from Harvey, and then he just jumped right over the two defenders, and he broke the plane of the scrimmage of the goal line, and it's touchdown, 6 points, and then an extra point by Garholtz is good, and the Lopers are up on top.
That play reminded me of the Oklahoma-Nebraska game when Spencer Tillman went over from about 7 yards out. It looked like when he dove over 2 Nebraska defenders. So Omar Rogers, a little flashback to little Cornhuskers, but Loper style. With 6:02, like Rich said, left to go in the game, third quarter, Kearney State leads the Bearcats 35-28. And Rich, we've talked about a lot. We don't want to bury this thing. Is that this game has got to be probably one of the most exciting football games that we have witnessed this year so far. I mean, you give the Shattern games, and all of Kearney's home games this year have been just great football games.
So far, I mean, it's just something you have to point out to people that are watching right now, that it's just going in favors and points, and that's how the Lopers have to keep it going, and keep the momentum in their drive.
To remind you, you can watch this game again on Wednesday night at 6:30, and immediately following the football game will be the final Claire Borough show this year.
The Sunday and Wednesday tradition.
Again, the kickoff goes to Johnson at the 2. He brings it out across the 15 down at the 20-yard line. And again, number 41, and there might be a flag on number 41, Vince Moser. He was just hounding Grauerholtz from the time he kicked the ball all the way down to the 25-yard line. And that might be, the flag was thrown, so there might be a penalty against Moser or Grauerholz. We'll have to wait and see. But Johnson returned the ball. Clipping
against.
Johnson returned the ball 23 yards out to the 25-yard line. So they'll take over there, first down 10 with the clipping call. They'll move it back.
Grauerholz, you know, saying, about time, official. I mean, it's been happening all afternoon, and now they finally caught it, and that's a good thing.
The ball was spotted at the 21. They move it back 10 yards, so they'll take over first down 10 at the 11-yard line. Will the Bearcats? 5:55 left to go in this third quarter. Wilson still in at quarterback. Ellis, number 17, out to the far side. Tillotson, Hins, and Crone in the backfield. Handoff goes to Tillotson. And he goes out the head of the 16-yard line, pickup of about 4 yards. Gunning on tackle. Excuse me, the runner was number 29, Hins. Ralph Hins, a halfback, 6', 175 junior out of Plano, Texas. Back of the line is the Bearcats. There goes Ellis, the far side. Hins, Tillotson, and Johnson. Handoff goes to Tillotson this time. He breaks a few tackles. He's going to out wide. Tripped up by Darren Gunn, and he falls down at the 33-yard line. Or Tillotson might have been gone again for a touchdown.
It's a 17-yard pickup. Luckily, Darren Gunn grabbed his foot and brought him down, or he would have had clear sailing all the way to the end zone and be another tight ball game here at Foster Field.
Johnson went out. Number 8, number 15, Jason Crone came in at the halfback spot along with Hins and Tillotson at the fullback. Ellis is here on the near side. The tight end of Glorioso here on the right side. Handoff goes to Tillotson, and he's stacked up for about a 1-yard gain by Gullen Bryant and Tim Arntz.
Nowhere to go that time. Tillotson says, no way, Jose, and he just went with the flow, and Bryant and the boys just leveled and just pushed him back.
John Chappell comes out. Shannon Hansen goes in for the Lopers.
That's one guy that we really haven't heard much of is John Chappell. I mean, he's been a very effective part of this Loper program here at Kearney State, and he's done really well on the defensive line.
He's only a sophomore from Corpus Christi, so we have 2 more years to see his ability out there on the field. Fake hand up to Tillotson. There goes Wilson. He misses one tackle, and he's got Smith there. Escapes another tackle. Mike Arnold, one person to beat, and Arnold will chase him down and miss him, and touchdown. Number 16 for the Northwest Missouri State Bearcat, Jeremy Wilson. And what else can you say? The speed again comes through, and they're going to tie this game back up. If Goddard takes a point.
66 yards on the touchdown run. Making it 35 to whatever. It's going to make it 35 to 34. I mean, nobody can get him. He got some speed, that quarterback does.
And there they go again. We said the running game for them hasn't been very good, or has been real good. And their passing game hasn't been the best, but their running game is really carrying them throughout this football game. And they're right back in the game and going to tie it up here if Goddard hits the extra point.
What an exciting game.
And he does connect. So with 3:50 left to go in this third quarter, Kearney State and Northwest Missouri State are all tied up at 35 all. We're back here, the final 3:50 of the third quarter. You're watching Loper Football on KCV, Channel 25.
For more than 70 years, Boys Town, Nebraska has been a safe, nurturing place for abused and neglected children to grow and develop. And Boys Town has grown too, from a simple orphanage into one of the world's most successful long-term programs for troubled children. Now, Boys Town is sharing its experience with other parts of the country. Boys Town, USA. Learn how it can help children in your community. For information, write to Boys Town, Nebraska.
Welcome back to Foster Field with a score with 3:50 left to go, like we said before the break. Kearney State 35, Northwest Missouri State 35. Go to her, ready to kick it off to the waiting Valine or Banks. They're waiting back at the 10-yard line. Valine takes at the 3. Waiting for his wall of blockers. He breaks a few tackles, still on his feet, shakes a few more, and finally brought down there by a few of the Bearcats, mainly number 3, Ed Freed, and the number 46, the kicker, Robert Goddard.
Good job by Travis Valine. Once again, he establishes that balance in his high kicking formation just to try to get down there, try to gain as much yards as possible. And sometimes you see people go in there and try to tackle him. They just don't wrap up and they just bounce off. And that's one good thing about Travis Valine. He has good aspects of just running the ball and trying to keep on his feet and to keep as many yards as possible. And that's what's well done with all the receivers here at Kearney State with Banks, Omar, Rogers, and Travis Valine.
Valine in motion left side with the rest of the receivers of Rogers and Banks. A reverse to Valine, and he'll get about 6 or 7 yards. So tough running there by Travis Valine. Some plays that Coach Barf might have not used that much throughout the season, and see if they're going to work so far since Northwest Missouri State may have not seen them on the game film. Might try something different.
Last time they used that was back at the Emporia State game. They tried that a couple times, and they didn't have not much success. They had success on the first attempt they did at Emporia, and afterwards they picked up really on it very much, a lot, and nowhere would go. And this, they gained around 6 to 7 yards, and it's just something. It's always set off when he's in motion, Valine.
So under center is Harvey, back to pass again. Hits on a 2-step drop to Valine at the 44-yard line. Enough for Kearney State first down.
He fumbled the ball a little bit there, and he kept good concentration, tucked it in, and good catch on his part, Travis Valine.
So that's first down 10 for the Lopers. Ball on the 44-yard line, 2:46 left to go in this third quarter. All three receivers of the core of Rogers, Valine, Banks split out left. Schmitz still in the backfield, alone back. Schmitz gets a call right up the middle, down at the 46-yard line, a gain of about 2 yards for Greg Schmitz. Brought down by number 40, Dave Savela, One of the lead blockers there for Schmitz was number 57, Scott Ford, the center, a senior from Westlake, California.
Only 2 yards on the carry there, but Schmitz, and I think Byer he's done with for the day, and Schmitz is doing really well in his plays because Byer is kind of injured on the field there. I mean, he had his shoulder pads off, and he still does. He's just wearing his jersey right now, and tough luck for Byer. I mean, he's running. He did really well. He's done really well through the whole season this year. Harvey back to pass again, looking for a hit, and just out throws Banks at the 36-yard line. He was under some heavy pressure from number 74, the Bearcats. That's Brian Wolf, and number 90, Eric Peterson. So had to get rid of the ball really quick on that one. Here we see for the first time this afternoon, number 2, Bobby Irwin. Irwin is a 6'1 sophomore, 160 pounds from Newton, New Jersey. His father played here for the Lopers a while back, so a little family tradition here. It's great to know your history, isn't it?
Rogers, Banks, and Irwin on the far side. Or Valine, looking deep for Valine. Catches it at the 10. Touchdown, Kearney State College. And Russ Harvey hits up with Travis Valine.
There's a 54-yard pass play. Good. You've seen that twice, and Harvey overthrew Valine. This time, Harvey put the ball right on the money, and it's 6 points.
When it first came out of the hands of Harvey, Valine has slowed down a little bit, and I thought, it's going to be another overthrow pass. But then Valine kind of kicked in the afterburner, caught up with it, caught the 10, and ran it in. Again, Valine's kind of like a field day out there. He's beaten the Bearcat defender, Lance Miller, numerous times, and just had a little trouble, getting the ball to him. At that time, Harvey hit Valine for the touchdown, the 54-yard touchdown.
They call that
pass.
they call that pattern the takeoff. You try to get outside your player and you try to get as far as you can up the field. It's just a running match. I mean, you just use your speed. Whoever has the fastest speed is going to be out farther, and you're going to catch the ball. It's going to be a touchdown. As it just happened right now.
So Grauholtz adds the extra point, take the score with 1:28 left to go in the third quarter. Kearney State 42, the Bearcats 35, and you know, Rich, this game, as you could have guessed, is going to be a high-scoring football game. But I didn't think it'd be this big because, you know, there's a whole fourth quarter left to go, and the way both these teams are playing, I expect about another 14 to 21 points on that scoreboard.
42-35, Kevin. I mean, these two teams, last game of their senior career here, you know, for the seniors, and they don't want to lose. Both teams are showing that right now. Both seniors on the Kearney State team and on the Northwest Missouri State team, and they just have the feeling, you know, that gut feeling that they have to do it, and they're out there giving 100% all the way through it. And right now, the Lopers have a 7-point lead, and I bet you that'll probably go pretty soon. You know how this game's going.
Okay, actually, I point to you people that watching at home on this kickoff. If you get a chance, watch number 41. He's right in the middle of the receiving team on the front row. Number 41. When Grauholtz kicks this ball, he'll go right to Darren Grauholtz, number 5, and just block him from then on. Just if you can keep in track. And he did exact that, and there'll be a touchback in the end zone of number 15, Jason Cronin. And, you know, I don't know. Grauholtz has a few words to say to him, and he's walked the field. I bet he's going to get a little disgusted out there. You know, I don't really agree with that kind of playing there by Coach Bud Elliott. You know, Grauholtz isn't a threat back there when the ball is kicked like that. That's just got to be, you know, one guy thinking he's really cool to go after a kicker like that, and that's not needed.
There's a flag back at the 45-yard line of the Lopers, and they're going to say there's going to be offsides against the Bearcats. It's been declined, and they're going to take the ball at the 20-yard line. So it's going to be first down and 10, and 1:28 left in the third. And you know, the officials, you know, you'd be wondering, they're probably pondering in their heads, you know, what are they going to do about that 41-5 incident? I mean,
yeah.
But also, you can say it's clean football. He's just there blocking. But,
yeah.
You know, it can tick you off a little bit. And that's what Grauholtz is. He's getting confused. But he's kicking the ball pretty well, though.
Back to action. Wilson hands off to Johnson, and he hits one tackle and gets about 2-yard gain there for number 8 of the Bearcats, Joseph Johnson.
That's what the Lopers want to see, you know, get the ball in there, stop him, give him only they gave him a 3-yard gain. And that's what we'll give him. And, you know, that's what they need to do, just play by play, stomp them. And right now we're under 1 minute of play in the third quarter.
55 seconds to be exact there, Rich. Second down, 7, the ball on the 23-yard line. In the backfield, Johnson, Hennis, and Tilson. Handoff goes to Tilson, and he bowls his way for about 3 yards. But there we go. The defense is is probably saying to themselves, you know, we've had enough of this stuff. The running game, they're kind of beating us in the running game. Let's stop them this time before the third quarter's over. Let's get that ball back in the fourth quarter, score, go up by 14, and let's come back out again and then stop them again. We're getting kind of tired of them running us over, so let's rise to the occasion, kind of group together and stop them.
3-yard gain for Tilson, and they have to gain 4 yards to get the first down. Watch the defense come up high on this priority play.
Third down, 4. Handoff goes to Tilson, takes up the right side, and he's got one tackler, and we got Smith on his heels. And Banger's going to hit an angle on him and knock him down at the 7-yard line. They're going to give him where he says at the 5. So another great run by Ed Tilson. What else can you do? You know, there's not much you can say out there for these guys. He's run as hard as he possibly can run. He was questionable coming into this football game as it is. So, you know, that's the end of the third quarter. On that run, you know, it's unexplainable what actually is going on in there. So we'll take a break right here between quarters and bring back the end of the football game here in the fourth quarter. Back to you. You're watching Loper Football on KSTV, channel 25.
Hey, I'm Willard Scott. You know, for nearly 3/4 of a century, world-famous Boys Town, Nebraska has provided a safe, nurturing home where troubled boys and girls can thrive. And it's going to help many more children right now with a new program called Boys Town USA. It could help some abused and neglected kids near you. I hope you'll welcome and support Boys Town USA and other long-term children's homes in your area. To learn more, write to Boys Town, Nebraska.
Welcome back to Foster Field, where if you just joined us, we're watching Ed Tilson take the handoff from quarterback Jeremy Wilson and scampered 68 yards down to the 6-yard line. So we'll take over first down and goal to go at the 6.
You know what surprised? You know what broke that play was a good block by number 8, Joseph Johansson, on number 28, Greg Smith, and Greg Smith was discussing himself to get that cut block right on him in that open field.
Here we go, first down, goal to goal. Fake hand up, Tilson. Wilson takes himself, is hung up there by number 44, Tim Arntz. And number 9, Tony Spires.
Wilson's ran for 70 yards total in this game so far. And, you know, people thought Tilson had it. A couple Lopers did, and then other Lopers had Wilson. That's the way you have to do. You have to put certain people on some people, and they take after them and just tackle them for the heck of it, because you never know if they have the ball or not.
Cronin goes out. Johnson comes back in for the Bearcats. In the bone set with Tilson, the fullback. Halfbacks are Johnson and Hindus. Handoff goes to Johnson. Johnson up and over. Touchdown. Joseph Johnson for the Bearcats. And they're going to attempt to tie this game up with Goddard comes in and adds the extra point. So we have 83 points total on the scoreboard right now. We're looking to add 84 points. We'll be tied up 42 all.
A lot of scoring in today's game. I mean, two teams battling it out head-to-head.
So Robert Goddard comes in to attempt the extra point for the Bearcats to tie this score up at 42 all. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. So tie ball game here at Foster Field with 14-14 left to go in this fourth quarter at 42 all. And, you know, Rich, we really don't want to bury it like everything else, but what do you think the defense of Kearney State has to do to stop these guys? They're playing their hearts out there, but it just seems like Tilson keeps hitting the holes that he needs to hit to break the long run.
What would you do if a guy with, actually a player at fullback with 14-14 left in the fourth quarter who is running 260 yards or more? I haven't got a complete total here. Over 250 yards in 3/4 of play. That is just unbelievable. I mean, what do you think? You have to stop the guy. That's the guy you have to stop. He's the one that's hurting you. 260 yards or more for Mr. Ed Tilson, the fullback of Northwest Missouri State U. It's unbelievable.
So Goddard will kick a squib across down the middle. Valine takes at the 11. To the right side. He breaks through the line again and spins out at the 45. And on the touchdown saving tackle was number 26, Cody Burmeister.
Good play by Birdmeister. I mean, if he wasn't there, it was touchdown, 6 points right there, back-to-back. Once again, that'll be twice so far for Valine if he would have broke that one.
And getting back to your point, Rich, to say I don't believe that there has ever been a runner to gain that many yards against the Kearney State team this year individually.
It's just surprising.
Back the action. Valine here on the left side. The right side is Banks and Rogers. Lone back is Schmitz. Six-man defensive line shown by the Bearcats. Harvey two-step drop, hits Banks. Banks spins, dives for a first down. And there you go, Rich. The extra effort that the receivers do have, when they catch the ball, they're not ready to just go down. They want some more yardage. So second effort there by Banks picks up Kearney's another first down for Kearney.
Lights are coming on here at Foster Field as it is getting kind of a little dark with the sun going down. I mean, it is With all the scoring going on, 14 minutes left in the fourth, it is 4 o'clock. And the game started at...
On the field down there, the mascot is doing, trying to get up on one of the cheerleaders' shoulders, and he has. And he's trying to, and the crowd is really showing appreciative for that. Rogers, Beline, Banks, split out left. Schmitz the lone back, hands up to Schmitz. He'll come to the right side. Is brought down from behind by David Walter. And there's the mascot, you can see, giving the high five to one of the cheerleaders, saying, thanks for getting me a little support and a little crowd behind me.
Greg Schmidt, he's doing his job. I mean, with a guy that's out, your leading running back, Byer, who comes into the game, and then you got to bring this kid in, Greg Schmidt, and he has done really well for the Lopers so far in this game.
Yes, he has, and you know, maybe that's just being a senior. He wants to show what he has been kind of hiding all year. Up for Rogers, and Rogers catches the ball, but he's out of bounds. Harvey was under pressure again. One of the players that was putting real pressure on him we can't get a number from right this point. I think it was number 18, Julian Brown. So you're seeing him in there, and there's a little talk going on between Brown and Bob Carrillo.
And why people are questioning that call is they think he cut the ball and he was pushed out of bounds, tackled out of bounds. But it looked like when he went up for the ball, when he caught the ball, he was already out of bounds through the plane at the margin, and that's what the call is going to be called. And right now the Lopers are pounding a third down and 9 right now.
Like you said, Rich, third down 9, the ball resting on the 44-yard line of the Bearcats. Looking deep, long count by Harvey.
That's going to go to Beline here.
Stepping back to pass. Looking for Banks. Banks catches it at the 23-yard line, out of bounds. So Kearney State picks up another first down with the combination of Russ Harvey to Doug Banks.
Actually a 16-yard catch by Banks. I mean, it's both ways. He had two places to get out of that. And he could have went to Beline with a post, going up the middle. And he also went to Banks, and he had his options, and he desired was go to Banks, and thank goodness old Banks caught the ball, and we have first down and 10. We're knocking at the door to get some more points on the board.
First down 10, the ball at 28, handoff goes to Schmitz. Flag on the play, spins out of one tackle, and spins out another one, and finally brought down the 21-yard line. So Banks came in this game with 1,942 yards total, receiving yards, and 20 touchdowns. So I'm sure he's gone over the 2,000 mark this afternoon.
I think they're having trouble where they're going to place the ball at. It's offsides against the Bearcats. So, Kevin, that's going to help the Lopers once again.
Yeah, it is, and you really can't expect to, I'm kind of surprised to see the Bearcats in this football game with many mistakes they have made. But then, there's go back again, those two turnovers of Kearney, and, that's kind of makes up for all those mistakes that the Bearcats had.
As you see, Donnie Lee coming in with the play to talk to Harvey, and you look like, what the passing's really helped him. They've got him out of some crevices in the game. I mean, they've been, third down and 16, come back with a pass play, get a first down 10. That's what's been helping them, is when they're in the deep trenches, somehow they came out on top.
First down 5, the ball on the 23-yard line for the Lopers. Harvey back to pass, screen to Schmidt. Schmidt cuts it back up, cuts across the middle now. Escapes one tackle and shoestring tackled by number 28 of the Bearcats, Cody Burmeister.
A 13-yard play by Schmitz.
On the tackle is number 28, Wes Henning. So Rich, Kearney State again driving again on their possession. There has been very little times on each one of Kearney's possessions where they have had a great sustained drive. They usually come with a touchdown, or they get down deep enough but then they'd make a mistake of an interception or have to punt it away. Hand off, fake handoff to Schmitz, and we have penalties on the flags on the field. Harvey faked the handoff to Schmitz, rolled out here to the left side. He had Savela right on his back and had a hold up. We might have a delay of game by the Lopers. We'll have to wait and see. So we have a 5-yard penalty back to the 16-yard line. So first down and 15. The ball on the 16-yard line. 12:02 left to go in the football game here at Foster Field. I'm Kevin Sladovnik along with Rich Broderson, bringing this final football game for the Lopers this season. Harvey back to pass again, looking for Banks. Overthrows Banks just a little bit off his fingertips and falls incomplete. Couldn't get it, couldn't come down with it.
Well, Eric Peterson, the defensive end for Northwest Missouri State, was right in the face of Harvey, and he had to get rid of that ball really quick, and then he did, and that ball was just right off the fingertips, right up in the sky off Banks, and incomplete. Bring up second down and 15.
Just like you said, Rich, 2 second down and 15. The ball still on the 16-yard line. Blown back, single setback is Schmitz. Harvey back to pass again. Looking for his receiver. He has to keep it himself. Across the 15, out the 10-yard line. So a pickup of 6 yards, or 7 yards for Russ Harvey. Went out at the 9.
So far, Harvey, he's been very dangerous when he runs the ball, and you'd wonder if Claire Boroff kind of get scared, but everything's working out all right for Harvey. You know, when he runs the ball, he gets open places, and he gets the yardage that they need. And right now, here's a third down play, and they've been pretty successful on containing these plays.
Yeah, they have. They've usually gone to the pass play, and that has been like the most positive plays for them is the passing game. So I look for them to pass here to a slanting Banks for Valine. I look for a Banks for Valine to go into the end zone, and Banks to cut right in underneath him. And there's Banks in and falls incomplete at the 1-yard line. He had Wes Henning on his back as he catches the ball. As the ball falls incomplete, brings up fourth down, and the field goal unit will come onto the field. So the third down attempt falls incomplete, and Grotz comes on. He will attempt a 26-yard field goal. It's down, it's up, and it is good. So with 11:41 left to go in this football game, Kearney State goes up ahead of the Bearcats 45-42. You're watching Loper football on KSTV channel 25.
They come to Boys Town when they're abused or neglected. They come to Boys Town when they're in trouble. They come by the thousands, boys and girls both. They find shelter, love, encouragement, education, and guidance, and a long-term commitment to help them grow into mature, well-adjusted young adults. And they leave Boys Town with the skills and self-esteem they need to make their lives meaningful and happy. To learn more, write to Boys Town, Nebraska.
We're back here at Foster Field where Dan Grotz just hit a 26-yard field goal to put the Lopers up ahead of the Bearcats 45-42 with 11:41 left to go. And as the unit was running off the field, Doug Banks had a few choice words, I assume, to say to the official about his incomplete pass. They just about brought down, but Henning was all over his back. Again, Grauholtz will have the in his mind, number 41. Grauholtz will kick it. This time, 41 for the Mosser keeps off Grauholtz. Johnson takes it, hit hard by Yulee. Yulee can't hold on, but he held him up enough until the rest Lopers got down. Banger did on the tackle, along with Mike Wingert, and also number 40, Mike Montgomery.
Mike Montgomery from Cozad, Nebraska. One of the hardest hitters I would have guessed. I ran a slant, I'll revise this. I ran a slant pattern right in the middle, and all of a sudden I kind of turned around. Also, I saw this Cozad haymaker coming right at me. Boom! That was the hardest hit I ever took it in my football career, and he is a good football player, and that's Mike Montgomery.
Wilson hands off to Tilson. Tilson will pick up about 2 yards on the carry, take out the 25-yard line. They'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for the Bearcats.
That's 237 yards for Mr. Tillison. I was kind of over my 260 average there, but it's 237 yards for Ed Tillison at fullback in today's game on the ground.
2nd down and 8, like I said. Wilson under center. The fullback is Tilson, Cronin, and Hindus in the backfield. Here comes on the option. Wilson brings himself. Smith comes over, and Marvin Watts also helps out in the tackle. So this time, Wilson doesn't go for much more than about 5 yards, but that will pick up another 1st down for the Bearcats.
The 10-yard run play, I mean, that's a good play by number 28, Greg Smith. He kind of ran him just a little bit, but that's what he is supposed to do. He is supposed to go up at the safety position and go up and make the tackle at the quarterback.
1st down 10, the ball on the 35-yard line for the Bearcats. Wilson under center, hands off to Hindus. He spins once, but then Dan Robbins is right there to meet him on the tackle. Robbins, you probably know, the 6'2", 215-pound sophomore from Pleasanton.
Pleasanton, Nebraska. Nice little town.
A gain of 2 there for Hindus. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 8. In the backfield again is Cronin. Tilson at fullback. Their halfback is Hindus. Hindus goes in motion. Back to passes. Wilson for the first time overthrows him, and Smith has the ball in his hands and then goes incomplete. So an interception there by Smith, just about. Wilson was looking for his tight end, number 89, Anthony Glorioso.
Oh boy, does Greg Smith want that one back?
And I'm sure so does the coaching staff of Kearney, because that would have put him in a great position to go down and score again and make their lead 12.
That crowd is up on their feet, and we're ready to. You can shake up here.
3rd down 8, the ball on the 37-yard line. Everybody getting on their feet, put their hands together and stomping. Fake hand to Tilson. Wilson has it himself. He'll scramble, get out across the 1st down, and there's DJ Vogelak to tackle him down there along with number 9, Tony Spires. 1st down 10 for the Bearcats.
There is a couple places where you can call holding, but you know that's what you can see up here, but not down there, I guess. And the Bearcats escaped one right there, and it's a 1st down and 10.
So Jeremy Wilson, a 12-yard run there for a 1st down.
Well, he's the leading rusher, Kevin, and so you have to take that into consideration when you play these Bearcats. And Tilson, 237 yards. You got 2 dangerous threats.
The lone back is Tilson. Slot back Johnson along with Hindus and Ellis in the near side. Wilson back to pass. And Greg Smith slips down. The intended receiver was Ellis, number 17, and it might have been another interception there by Greg Smith. He comes up limping, though.
He twisted his ankle there, I think. Yeah.
He's holding his right knee.
Left knee, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, excuse me, his left knee came. I still learned my left from my right.
Don't worry about it. Let's get the play.
2nd down 10, the ball on the 49-yard line as they're attending to Smith there on the sideline. We'll go back to the action. Here comes Ellis again to the near side. Ryan Ellis in the bone again is Hindus, Tilson, and Johnson. Wilson under center, hands off to Tillison. He gets about 2 yards, but that's it for Ed Tillison. Garland Bryant, Jeff Ortmeyer in on the tackle.
That's the way the Lopers. Once in a while, they'll stop him like that, Tilson, and sometimes he breaks that big gain. It depends on the blockers of the offensive line of the Bearcats. When they make a hole, Tilson uses it. When they don't, Tilson is stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 8. The ball on the 47-yard line. Lone back Tilson, 2 slot backs Johnson, Hindus. Out left is Glorioso and near side Ellis. Handoff goes to Tilson. Fumble! Carney recovers, number 9. Tony Spires on the bundle recovery for the Lopers. And that's just heartbreaking there for Ed Tilson. He almost had the first down. Coughs the ball up at number 9. Tony Spires jumps on it.
And Coach Buddy Elliott, he's complaining that he was down. They think his knees were on the ground when he fumbled the ball. But that happened so quick, and without instant replay or anything. That's what's going to be called. It's going to be 1st down and 10 the other way. Fumble recovery. Tony Spires, number 9 for the Lopers.
Harvey brings up the troops to the line. Split out right is Banks and Rogers. Left is Valine. The set below back is Schmitz. Harvey under center. Long count again. Back to pass. Hit a 3-step drop and just didn't even get close to Rogers.
Well, Omar hit him in the hands just right behind him a little bit, and he ran before he caught the ball. And that's what happened there, and Omar knew it, and this time, it's working. That's a little dump pass that's working all day for the Lopers, and they 22. I would like to, with a 3-point lead, yeah, I would score. Then after you score, and if you get the ball back and they don't score, run the ball all the time. Get the clock down, and you could do that right now too, but you're at 2nd down 10, optional, you can pass and run here.
Still set back is Schmitz. Back, hand up to Schmitz up the middle. Down at the 45-yard line, pick up about 4 yards. We'll give him 6 though on that run. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. The ball on the 44.5-yard line. So we're down to 7:50 left to go in this football game. Here comes Banks, nearest in the screen, and Rogers, the slot back. On the far side is Valine. The lone back is Schmitz. Hike to pass is Russ. Harvey hits Valine, hits in the chest and drops it. That would have been enough for a 1st down, but it falls incomplete, so the Cardinals have to punt. So we're looking for Dave Banger to let off one of his beauty of a punt. So it'll kind of set the Bearcats back deep in their own territory.
We hope.
That's true. So we're looking for that.
Well, yeah, and they're gonna come and try to block this, and I would too.
Oh, back deep is Parker. Banger with an end-over-end kick. Parker waits for a fair catch at the 21-yard line. So that's where Jeremy Wilson and his Northwest Missouri State Bearcats take over the ball with 7:31 left to go in this football game. And now here could be the real test of the day here for the defense of Kearney State, Rich. They need to stop them, get the ball back, run the clock out. Use the run, do whatever you have to do, but run that clock low enough and end up get a score, get a field goal. You'd like to see a touchdown, but they'll settle for a field goal. That will make the Bearcats have to get it in the end zone. So Jeremy Wilson, now they have 4 receivers in there. Ellis, Hindus, Johnson, and Glorioso with Tilson, the lone back. Wilson rolls out here to the near side. Under pressure, scoops it up himself, is met head on by number 15 for the Lopers, Colby Lathrop, and is brought down at the 33-yard line. Give the 34-yard line. The crowd now starting to get a little vocal, showing they're backing the Lopers all the way. This final 7:20 left to go.
A 12-yard gain by the quarterback Wilson. As I mentioned, we mentioned it quite a bit through the game, that he is the leading running back for the Bearcats, and right behind him is Tillman. And I think Tillman's bypassed him today with a 238-yard gain average in running so far, so that's not bad.
Back to the bone side is the Bearcats. Hindus, Johnson, Tillison, Ellis the lone back. Handoff goes to Tillison. He gets out across the 35, down about the 36-yard line, gives him the 37. And it looked like somebody grabbed his face mask, but no call.
Not much bouncing on the Bearcats side tonight. Actually, it is beginning to become night. Could say this afternoon, could say tonight. It's one of those two.
It's starting to get a little chillier out there than it was at game time.
That is absolutely right.
Second down and 7. The ball on the 38-yard line. In the bone again. Ellis out to the far side. The same backs of Tilson, Hindes. Hand goes to Tilson. He breaks one tackle, and Vokalek is there to bring him down. So Tilson's still running hard, being this late in the ball game, and he has a lot of work and a lot of yards he has compiled so far this afternoon.
16 yards for Ed Tilson. I mean, he picks them up in short bursts, he picks them up in the long runs, he picks them up in the medium runs, or the 1 quarters. You have to hold him under the 1 yard line.
That's true, you do, and it's been tough for them to do this afternoon. I mean, I don't think I've seen one time where they've held him within. I mean, there has been a few, but not very many to talk about where he's been held to 1 or 2 yards on the carry. Ellis out to the far side, fake handoff to his backs. Wilson will scramble, and great open field tackle there by number 73, John Chappell. Just took on the offensive line himself, broke through, and tackled Wilson back at the 41-yard line. A loss of about 12 yards for the Bearcats.
You know one thing there, John Chappell could have had a fumble recovery. If he didn't get up and wave his arms around in excitement, I know he's so happy to get the sack, he could have had that fumble recovery. But anyway, it is a good play by a sophomore, John Chappell.
Second down and 22, the ball on the 42-yard line of the Bearcats. A loss of 12 yards on that play. Hand off goal to the fullback. Number 19 replaced Tillison. That was Royal Peterson. He picks up about 4 or 5 yards. Third down and 17.
Third down, 16. What do you think here, huh? The way they've been running the ball, you
never know. It could be possible. 3 receivers of Ellis, Glorioso, Johnson,
give it to Tilson,
and Hindes. Tilson, the lone setback. Wilson back to pass. Lots of time. Tipped and incomplete. And to get in the way of the pass is number 18, Mike Carlin, and number 44, Tim Arndt.
Well, 4th down. They're going to have to kick. I mean, it's going to be very, very truly here. Omar and Banks back, and we need to get some more points on the board because you never know on this game. 4:18 left.
Todd Gray comes in a punt back deep for the Lopers. It's Banks and Rogers. Gray's kick, a high spiral kick. Rogers back at his. Fumbles the ball at the 4. He takes it. His hit at the 5 and gets out to the 7-yard line. He misjudged that the kick there, Rich. He thought that the ball was going to come down to about the 10, and then he looked up again and it brought him back to about the 4-yard line. Had trouble holding on to it, but luckily got on it and picked up about another 3 yards.
Yeah, it's just like he misjudged the ball up in the air, a little bit, and then right at the last second, he had to adjust himself, and when he went over and after he adjusted himself underneath the ball, he got the ball and then advanced it on.
On the sidelines there, number 28, Greg Smith for the Lopers. They taped him up and taped up his left knee, and you can see he's taking off his pads. They taped him up. He tried to do some quick sprints out there, shook his head and said, no, I can't go anymore. So that'll be the afternoon there for number 28, Greg Smith.
Good season for him.
And looks like there was a little penalty on the field. They're going to make the Bearcats re-kick that ball, Rich. We haven't got the official signal on the call, but there was a flag at the 39-yard line of Kearney.
Well, we'll check her out here.
Right, there's, like I said, no indication of what the call was, but I did see an official pick up his flag at the 39-yard line of Kearney.
Well, referee Doug Martin's going to tell us up here. Everybody's up here, even the whole sports crew up here is just bewildered.
Getting back to the injury report, we see we told you that Greg Smith was down, and also Nolan Byer was down with a right shoulder. He has his jacket on and a baseball cap on, and it looks like his arm is in a sling or something. And also number 24, Kevin Lewis, has his right arm taped up there in bandages. So could be real costly. You know, luckily, I don't like to say luckily, it's the last game of the season, but you never want to see any football player hurt, and hopefully these injuries aren't serious where they could cause some of these players not to come back next season. One thing Coach Boroff did mention in his weekly show is that after this season's over, they're gonna give them Sunday off, and I believe he said they're gonna start right up again Monday morning with lifting weights, running, keeping in conditioning. They were thinking about giving the week off for Thanksgiving, but they said, well, let's keep them in their mode, keep them in their conditioning, and get ready for next season right away. So they're gonna re-punt it. Todd Gray again, a nice high kick, and Omar will call a fair catch at the 21-yard line. So Russ Harvey and the Kearney State troops will go in so they can do in the final 3:58 of this football game. And Rich, if you were Coach Boroff, what would your game plan be this final 3:58?
I would like to run the ball. I like the first two plays, run the ball. I mean, it's just like a normal series, run the ball first two plays, and if you're in a hole, I'll pass. And then if that doesn't work out, you have to punt. But right now, the hoping is to get some first downs, and I would score. I would, because this Bearcat team scares me.
That's true. The single setback is Schmitz, the lane here on the left side, right side, Banks and Rogers. Long count handoff goes to Schmitz. There's your running play, Rich. He gets about 3 yards. Clock continues to run here. That's working in Kearney State's favor.
And also, if you look at the timeouts column, it's 3 apiece. So nobody's used timeout and might hold the clock up. The Bearcats probably will.
So Kearney State taking their time, bringing the playing and getting to the line of scrimmage, all in the game plan of the Lopers. 3:20 left to go in this football game.
They might pass here because they only got 2 yards.
Fake to Schmitz. Harvey rolls out to his left. Hits Rogers at the 40-yard line and falls incomplete. A little bit too low for number 31, Omar Rogers.
You know what the smart thing would have been there is just Harvey running himself. If he had open alley, I mean, hey, just get the first down. Don't try to go with the pass. You could drop it like you just did. I would have just ran the ball and tried to get the first down, But when you're a quarterback, if you see a guy open, you want to pass the ball. And that's unfortunately not the catch. And right now, they're probably going to go to the pass play right here once again.
That's true, Rich. And right now, the Bearcats are expecting the Lopers to pass it. So they're going to go in their pass prevent defense and try to hold them here on 3rd down and 8.
This is called the cloud zone defense when they have 2 safeties back in that position.
Harvey back to pass again, rolls out to his right this time. He'll keep it himself. He has the first down in mind and dives out of bounds. Great play calling and great decision for Russ Harvey to keep it under himself, under his arm, and run himself for a first down. So that will keep Kearney's drive alive here with 3:04 left to go in this game.
Well, that time he ran it. Hey, he can hear us up here criticizing his play once in a while. 3:04 left in the 4th. But the thing is, the Bearcats have 3 timeouts, and if they get down there to that side of the field, the left side of it, you're going to be seeing some timeouts coming up.
Split right out to the right side is Valine. Here on the near side is Banks with a lone setback of Schmitz. And we might have a delay game by the Lopers, and you don't want to see that, Richie. That's just some mistakes that should be ironed out before this game even happens. You want the clock to run, but the clock is not going to start running until the play is called, since Russ Harvey ran out of bounds.
You know what can really hurt here? A fumble in this kind of territory, and you don't want to be drove back with penalties and stuff like that. That's just against it. You have to, I would give the ball, run the ball here. You might pass because you're back about 5 yards and you have to hit 15, and that's what he's going to do here.
Harvey looking for Banks, and Banks slowed up, and Harvey just threw it long. Incomplete. So that was first down 15. That'll bring up second down 15, and then there you go. That kind of, you're expecting, let me slow down here. You're going to come out. They know you're going to pass to pick up that first down and keep your drive alive, and they had that one covered all the way.
Could you just believe that? I mean, I think Banks, what he was saying, that he was being overplayed and people were up there, you know, and he couldn't get around him, and so he slowed down, and he was wondering if Harvey would find that out, you know, and come back and hit him behind them.
Right. There was good coverage. That's just a miscommunication between the quarterback and receiver. Rogers comes out here to the near side with Banks. Far side, Valine. Schmitz in the back will get the handoff, and it's stacked up by numerous of the Bearcat players. Dave Savela in on the tackle, and he comes up limping again. So, I mean, that could be the recurring injury he had from the first quarter. But he'll stick it out. They'll take a timeout, and so will we. You're watching Loper Football on KSTV Channel 25.
Every parent knows that there's magic in a child's smile. Now there's a magical way to protect that smile. You see, when back teeth are growing, they develop tiny pits and fissures that are too small to clean out with a toothbrush. They form perfect hiding places for the bacteria that cause tooth decay. But your dentist can protect these teeth by painting on a thin plastic coating called a sealant. It works like magic to seal out decay.
Welcome back to Foster Field. I'm Kevin Dominic along with Rich Butterson, and you can see that great camera work by Chuck Selstrom on the great drums of the Kearney State Band. They provide us the great halftime entertainment this afternoon and continue to keep the spirits high here for the fans here at Kearney State. 2:48 left to go in the football game. Northwest Missouri State just called a timeout, and Russ Harvey is walking back to the huddle to see what the play that Coach Boroff will send in. The score here is 45-42. Kearney State leads. Third down 18, the ball at 25-yard line. Kearney breaks the huddle. Coming to the line, Bobby Irwin, number 2, in there on the far side. Rogers and Valine and Banks come in closest to you. The lone back is Schmitz. Big play here, third down 18. Harvey back to pass. He'll scramble the right under pressure. He escapes one, but got to let it go. Hits incomplete. He had Banks wide open at the 50-yard line, but just couldn't get there because he was running to his left side and trying to throw across to his right. And Harvey was just hit hard by number 70 for the Bearcats. That is John LeBeau.
Now, Dave Bangert needs to get a nice kickoff here. One of his best all season long.
And Rich, you go back to the delay game penalty right there. You know, that was a costly error in that last drive they just went through. Bangert, they're coming for a high kick, caught up a little bit. Fair catch by Cronin. Whoa. Or
Flag.
Parker. Big. Parker called for the fair catch, Rich, and Yulee was inside that 2-yard barrier that they do hold up when they do call a fair catch signal. So that'd be a 5-yard penalty against the Lopers. So that just adds to the field position of the Bearcats with 2:33 left to go in this football game.
Well, that's happened down here. They've been close to Omar Rogers. Why don't they call it there? I just don't understand why they do it now.
Yeah, I don't either. And, you know, it's tough to guess what actually was going on, but we got to accept it and see what actually does happen. That's going to make the defense even more pumped up and have to come together and stop the Bearcats on this drive right here.
Well, that's what makes me mad. Why don't they do it down there when it happens here? Don't call it off and on. That's the worst thing in a game. That's my pet peeve in officiating. Honest.
So the crowd here getting very, very vocal. Wilson under center. The backs are Hindus and Tilson. Wilson keeps it himself, avoids the referee, runs past the 40-35, down to 30, and is tripped up by Vokalek. Penalty flag is on the 41-yard line. I got to even give a blocking below the knees or a clip on here or a hold. Let's just see. And there's the blocking below. And it's against the Bearcats, so they'll bring that run all the way back. Darren Gunn comes up limping. They'll bring him off the field. Also coming off is number 95, Andy Falk. Now he decides to go back in. So a big, big break for the Lopers on that one, Rich.
If that wasn't, thank goodness for the call, huh? I forgive you, officials, for the last call now. But I still don't understand. But that was a good play by Darren Gunn. But I don't understand how he got hurt. I mean, you know, he might fell down awkwardly or something like that. But that's what it is. But it's going to be up first down at 15. It's kind of like how the Lopers started off down here on their last series.
Out to the far side is Ellis and Glory and Ellis and Hindus. And also on the near side here is number 20, Ben Toda. In the backfield is Tillison and Crony. Calling the count, Wilson. Wilson pitches it to Crony. Crony takes it, hit by Vokalek, spins off and driven out of bounds there by Colby Lathrop, number 15. So for a play that I didn't think was going to go very far, they picked up about 11 to 12 yards on that run. So second down and 2, they give them 13, or second down and 4, the ball on the 44-yard line.
Second timeout taken by the Bearcats, Kevin, and that's going to hurt them. I mean, they got one more timeout left, but they have to do it now with 1:37 left in the fourth.
We'll keep it right here during this timeout. As you can see there in your screen, it's getting a little chilly. People breaking out the winter jackets, and they're kind of starting to get a little closer together and keep the heat within. So the coaches are meeting on there's a young Kearney State fan hoping he can put on the old shoulder pads and helmet in about 16 years.
He wants to be a band director. He's just following Gary Davis right there. That's the early years of the band director here now at Kearney State. Gary Davis. Did you see him? He got the good form too. He got the hands waving and everything.
So coming back on the field is the Bearcats. The Lopers still meeting over there with the coaches. Coach Renner to be more exact.
So Coach Renner saying, guys, this is a second down and 2 play. They get this first down, they get 4 more new tries with 1:37 here to go now. And we need defense right now, the best that you ever played all season long. Agatin goes right with Bryant on the left side along with Robbins.
As you can hear, the crowd starting to get behind him. Wilson back to pass. Garland Bryant coming on the left side. Marvin Watts misses the tackle. Wilson gets the first down across the 30 and is not brought down at about the 27-yard line. So it looked like that Wilson was going to be tackled from behind by Garland Bryant and Marvin Watts. He escapes those tackles and picks up a gain about 13 yards. So first down 10. The ball is on the 27-yard line.
104 yards for Jeremy Wilson on the rushing part.
Wide left is Ellis. Here on the right side is Johnson, Hindus, and Tata. The blown back is Tillison. Back to pass is Wilson. Under pressure, lets go of it, and incomplete. On the heels of Jeremy Wilson was Dan Robbins. He made him get rid of it quickly, and the ball fell incomplete. So it's second down 10 with 1:10 left to go in the game.
Man almighty, exciting football here on KSTV, Channel 25 on a Sunday and a Wednesday night.
This game is brought to you by Killian Motors, Bogart's Food Stores, Kearney State Bank, the Big Apple, and the Platte Valley State Bank. Back to the exciting action here at Foster Field. Ellis, Hindus, Johnson here on the near side. Tata out left. Tillison, the lone back. Handoff goes to Tillison. DJ Vokalek meets him, brings him down at about the 16-yard line, and I would say that Vokalek lost that battle there, Rich. He brought him on, but he hung on and brought him down. So 1:03 left to go in the football game, and the Bearcats are on a scoring drive here.
Yep, Lopers need to suck it up now.
The chains are set. The clock starts to roll. Wilson will get under center here quickly if he wants to get going. All receivers here of Ellis. Todd on the left side with Johnson and Henderson on the near side. Back, Robin sack, ball's loose. The Bearcats jump back on top. We'll have to wait and see what the official is. But Robbins there 2 plays previous just about had him. This time he picks extra speed up and hits Wilson from the backside. And he coughs the ball up. But the Bearcats recover. But that's a loss of about 8 yards. 38 seconds left to go in the game, and a big play there by Dan Robbins of Kearney State.
Good play. I mean, that's going to bring the ball back. And they had a kicker, they had a place kicker out here, and he was kicking him from around there, so it's going to be dangerous. They could probably put a place kicker in, but I hardly doubt they want to go for the win.
Yeah, it'd be really, it would almost, I don't know, I don't have words to describe what I'm about to say. If they tie it up, they'd almost make this game complete. It's been a tough tooth and nail fight back and forth, and a tie would almost kind of top things off here, Rich. But then again, you never want to see a tie, especially last game of the season.
Well, even getting back, to the previous games that they played, Kevin, and it's only been 1, 2, 3 points that separated them from their losses. The 7 losses are being considered of 1 or 2 or 3 points. Oh, and then there's like a couple games, just 2 games that they lost 15 or more. But the rest were very close games that they've lost. This is going to be a big play here. 2nd down and 19. Ball on the 24-yard line. Final seconds, here's Kevin Slodomnik.
Thanks for that introduction. 2nd down, 19, like Rich said. The ball on the 24-yard line, 38 seconds on the clock.
And remember, this game is the Lopers won a winning season at 6-5.
Tata goes out left. Ellis and Hindus hit the near side with Johnson and Tillison lone back. Wilson back to pass again. Under pressure. Ball's up. It's caught by number 15 for the Kearney State Lopers. Interception, Colby Lathrop. Touchback. Lopers take over the 20-yard line. And great defensive coverage there on the receiver for the Bearcats. And Lathrop killed the ball in the end zone. Touchback, Kearney State with 32 ticks on the clock left to go. And
good integration for number 15, Colby Lathrop. He had the ball tipped, kept his eyes on the ball, get in the end zone, got it. That was very close because number 1, AG, was coming to come back and get that ball.
It was, it was the smartest thing you could do. Just get it and get down. Take the touchback. Don't try to run it out. You could end up eventually maybe get a safety if you try to run it out and then go back in. So, no timeouts on the clock for the Bearcats. All I assume what Harvey would do is just kneel down and let the clock run out here. That should be the football game. And that's all he does. He throws the ball to the referee. 28 ticks the clock left, down to 25, and that should be the ball game. They don't get the ball reset in time. So, Rich Broderson, what do you think of the Kearney State Lopers to end the season at 6-5? The Northwest Missouri State Bearcats end up at 2-8-1. So Kearney State ends up over the 500 mark this football season.
Yeah, it's fantastic because you see some of the games that they played and they lost were just very close games as well as the Bearcats. And look at them coming out with a 6-5 record. That's better than going with a 5-6 record. And Coach Boroff must be pleased, Coach. I'm surprised they don't got the jug of water out and splashing him with it.
As you can see, the sun is shining on the Kearney State Lopers this afternoon. The sun has come out and is burning brightly for the Lopers. They end the season a 6-5 record. The final score here is Kearney State 45, the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats 42. We'll be back with the final statistics and a little post game from Rich Burson and myself, Kevin Sladovnik.
Do you know someone from 2 to 21 with a disability and a yes, I can attitude? The Foundation for Exceptional Children wants to honor them with a certificate of achievement like this. Maybe they're working hard at school or a job, participating in sports or arts, or simply mastering everyday tasks. Let's encourage them to get all they can out of life. For a free certificate, write to Yes I Can, Foundation for Exceptional Children, Reston, Virginia, 22091.
Welcome back to Foster Field, where the Kearney State Lopers just defeated the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats 45-42 in an exciting football game that kind of teeter-tottered back and forth. Kearney State would score, then the Bearcats would score, then the Lopers score, and then the Bearcats score. Lopers would turn it over, the Bearcats would go down, the defense for Kearney State would rise to the occasion, stop them, make them punt, then the Lopers would come down again and score. So, you know, all you can do is go back and forth, and they did score enough to win this game at 45-42. The last play of the game was Wilson went back to pass under heavy pressure with 38 seconds to go in the game. After a tipped pass by a defensive back for Kearney State, number 15 for Lopers, Colby Lathrop, a 6'1 sophomore, 195-pound, and to make that even more enjoyable, a Kearney High graduate, right here, a homegrown person, makes the game-winning interception. And Rich, I know you're over there totaling up the statistics, and you can talk as we're going. I guess the one thing that stands out is, I guess Kearney just had enough gut check there to kind of pick it up again like the defense always has, and rise to the occasion and stop the Bearcats when they needed to stop them.
That's right, Kevin. I mean, they just came out and tried to do the best that they can. And, you know, at the beginning, they were out there at the start convinced that they're going to win this game, with the seniors were saying, this is our last game, buddy, and we're going to do what we have to do out here. And that's what they did, and that's what they accomplished.
Yeah, they have, and you know, and you got to give a lot of credit to the Bearcats and head coach Bud Elliott. They came down into Kearney with not a very good record at 2-7-1. You know, last year they were 9-3, like you said, the outset of the football game. And you know, they fought hard. They did a real tough job. They made the game enjoyable for the fans here and for a Parents' Day here at Kearney State. And ended the football season here for the Lopers on a, you know, on a very positive note for the Lopers, and not a very positive note for the Bearcats. But, you know, they can't hang their heads. They played hard. They were in the game until the very end. They did a good job. Kind of run down the final statistics, if you would, Rich, for the football game here at Foster Field.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin, for that introduction, like you would say to me. For Kearney, boy, oh boy, can you say for Russ Harvey, he had a heck of one of games here. He had a total of 307 yards total. We had 46 yards rushing, along with 261 yards passing. And Omar Rogers came into the game. He had 42 yards on pass receiving. And for Nolan Byer, who was injured in late second quarter, had 7 yards on the day. A fine man that came in and played for Nolan Byer's spot was number 30, Greg Smith. He had a total yards of rushing of 57 yards. Coming in the game, as always, number 16, Travis Valine. He had 6 yards rushing, 81 yards pass receiving. And Doug Banks broke the 100-yard barrier with 101 yards receiving. For Northwest Missouri State, the Bearcats, well, the leading rusher, I tell you, it's just surprising for a guy with total yards of 291 yards for just one man. And that's with passing and rushing. And with this guy just rushing, just doing it all for himself, he had a total of 269 rushing yards. He did that himself. And And right behind him was Jeremy Wilson, the quarterback. He rushed for 183 yards. He really didn't pass at all. He only passed for 54 yards. Ralph Pines had a total of 11 yards, number 29, a running back for them. Joseph Johansson had 19 yards. And number 15, Jason Crone, had 12 yards. And in the passing category, Ryan Ellison received 47 yards in the passing receiving category. And number 19, Royal Peterson, gained 8 yards. A little rundown on the note of how the Lopers scored. It started out in the first quarter. The first touchdown was a 3-yard run to Greg Schmitz, making the score 7-0 with Kearney on top. Coming in right in the back, right behind him with only 4 minutes. It was tied the game 7-7 on the second touchdown. It was a 7-yard run by Ed Tillson of Northwest Missouri State. Coming in and then at 14-7, Kearney State just then scored their third touchdown. It's an 8-yard run by Greg Schmidt. And then going into around the 10-minute mark in the second quarter, the game went to 21-7 when 11-yard pass play from Harvey to Omar Rogers, and that made the score 21-7. And then a 67-yard run by Ed Tillson for Northwest Missouri brought him back to 21-14. But the Lopers came knocking right getting into the closing minutes around the 6-minute mark, making it 28-14 on an 87-yard kickoff return by Valine. Actually, that was at 9 minutes and 58 seconds, only 7 seconds after the big run by Tillson, making the score 28-14. But then in the final minutes, around the 4-minute mark, it was 28-21 when a 32-yard pass play to Ryan Ellison for Missouri, and that made the score 28-21. And then coming in after halftime, Missouri came and scored. They made a 2-yard run by Ralph Hines, and they made the score tied up ball 28-all. And then Kearney struck back with a 12-yard pass from Harvey to Omar Rogers, the second one of the night for those two, that combination, making the score to 35-28. Going into about the final minutes of the third quarter, in a 66-yard run by Jeremy Wilson, and he scored that, and that'll tie the score at 35-35. And then coming back right at the end, with 1 minute left in the third quarter, the Kearney Lopers scored. It was a 50-yard touchdown pass from Harvey to Travis Valine, making the score 42-35. The fourth quarter came around, and just back right after the fourth quarter, 14-14 left, a 1-yard run by Joseph Johansson from the Northwest Missouri University tied the score 42-42. And then we thought there, Kevin, that it was just going to be a supplement because everybody was just right there. I mean, it looked like it's just going to go both ways right there. And unfortunately, fortunately for the Lopers, number 5, Darren Grauholtz kicked a 26-yard field goal. Moved him up by 3, making it 45-42. And that's our final score from here at Foster Field, 45-42. Lopers on top over the Bearcats.
And one more thing before we go, I'd like to thank those seniors that provided 4 years of great football here at Foster Field for us fans to come watch. One more time, those seniors were Steve Simmons from Tylertown, Mississippi, Russ Harvey from Grand Island, Nebraska, Travis Valine from Long Island, Kansas, Mike Arnold from David City, Doug Banks from Imperial, Greg Smith from York, Greg Schmitz from Clarkson, Matt Arntz from Lincoln, Darren Gunn from Kearney, Scott Ford from Westlake, California, Tim McCaw from Omaha, Tom Brennan from Holdridge, Diane Lee from Grand Island, and Mike Long from Franklin. I'd like to thank them and good luck to whatever they intend to do after their football careers. And that's all from here from Foster Field. For Rich Broderson, I'm Kevin Dominic. Thank you for joining us on KSTV Channel 25. For the football season, we'll bring you basketball starting next Friday night when the UNO Mavericks come into the Sports and Health Center to take on the Kearney State Lopers. Game time is set for 7:35. That's all here at Foster Field. Thanks for joining us. See you back here again next season.
See you, everybody. Coach, as opposed to last week's game, was low scoring. This game was high scoring. The final score is 45-42. Did you feel it might favor your offensive since you're a passing team?
I never dreamed that it would come down and be that type of a game, although it certainly did turn into that. And, of course, we had a nice field, a good field, and a great day as far as being able to operate no matter what kind of an offense you had. And we had moved the ball fairly well on them a year ago, of course, with a different kind of an offense. But we had some big plays, and so did they.
And on the end there is Greg Schmitz, a senior from Clarkson, Nebraska. And welcome, Greg. Thanks for joining us. Being your final home game as a senior, what was your feeling going into that football game?
Well, I guess we went with the same game plan as we always did. It was just we were just hoping we could go out with a win, you know. Ending up with a good game like that, we never expected, like you said, have a game like that. It was just like a track meet, basically, you know, and we're glad we could come out on a winning note.
Okay, when we return, we'll look at the first half highlights between Northwest and Missouri State.
Do you drink more when you feel under pressure?
When sober, do you often regret what you said or done while drinking? Have you failed to keep promises you made to yourself about cutting down on drinking? We have 26 questions that can tell you whether it's alcoholism that's tearing up your life. 26 questions with one big answer to your problems.
For your free pamphlet, call your local affiliate of the National Council on Alcoholism or toll free 1-800-NCA-CALL.
Welcome back to the Claire Barr Show. Coach, what did you say to your players, maybe possibly your seniors, since it was the final home game and you wanted to go out with a win?
Well, I think, Kevin, what we talked about a week ago on the show was that we had two things that we were striving for. One was we wanted to have a winning season, at least to go 6-5. And the second thing was to send the seniors out on a winning note. And we just tried to focus on that all week long and try to get all the team looking at, at the very same goals. And I felt like that we accomplished that. I felt like that we really zeroed in, and even though they scored a lot of points, our defense played really hard, and they were able to do it the last couple drives there in the fourth quarter when they had to do it.
They did. And Greg, being a senior, you got a chance to start in the final home game. How did you feel your performance was that last game?
Well, I played, a little bit over the year, and it was good that, I could get in there and had a chance to run the ball and everything, and it was great that we had the pass to set up the run, because they weren't expecting to run as much, and I felt that when the pressure was put on me, I felt that I did okay,
Yeah, you did a fine job. So now if you look at that first half highlights between Northwest Missouri State, and again, Coach, you couldn't ask for a more favorable day this late in November.
No, it was a gorgeous day, and it just was a great day for football, and I thought we had a fair crowd considering everything. I felt like our field was in good shape for this time of the year, and of course, you're going to see us here. We won the toss, and we wanted to receive, and we're going to put together a nice drive here right off the bat. About an 80-yard drive and should end up in a touchdown. This was an automatic right off the bat by Russ Harvey out to Travis Valine. Greg ended up playing practically the whole game, I think, except for the second series. Nolan Byers went in on the second series and injured his shoulder, and Greg was in for every snap, this first series and then after that.
I'm sure you really didn't mind that, Greg, just being you want a chance to play always.
Yes, it was sure nice getting in there for the last game.
There's a nice catch by Doug Banks. I think that was another automatic. We got into a variety of sets, most of which we've shown before, on the show. You're not going to change a whole lot of those, but I thought we did a lot better job. There's a good run by Greg. We did a lot better job of being a more aggressive in terms of taking advantage of the pass when it's there. And there were some games that we didn't do that, and that's one thing we focused in all week long was anytime we felt like the pass was there to be sure to take it. And we had to be prepared for a lot of blitzes. We felt like there were times that they were going to fake it and then they were going to come. And here's one of the times that they did come, and Russ got outside to contain and was able to run for the first down. In fact, he had a really good game. Russ has good quickness.
And are you happy with your passing game? I mean, it's kind of your first year you used the run and shoot, so to speak, and you happy with it? You try to continue the next couple of years?
I think basically if we can recruit the right kind of people, we will continue to go with it. Here's a reverse by Greg. Again, there's a good run there, a good first down gain. But I think one of the things that I'd like to see us do, number one, is cut down on our interception ratio, and number two, improve our passing efficiency. By that I mean we need to complete close to 60% of all of our passes, and we were about 44, 45, 46%.
There's really a well-executed play right there. Greg went in motion, and they kind of left the tight end open for what we call a blue call, and Russ made a great read and dumped Donnie Lee the pass.
Do you ever think that's kind of a giveaway? You send your back in motion, they almost know it's going to be a pass.
Well, not really, because we have a quarterback draw off of that. We also have a reverse play that our quarterback can run, but I think, you know, most teams probably when we line up would expect us to pass first anyway.
Greg, I noticed throughout this season that you really, you kind of run really hard. You keep your legs moving. Do you work in the off season, also during the season, on your leg strength?
Basically, yes. I do a lot of squats in the off season. You know, that's probably my favorite lift of all. You know, that's what I think helps me do the best out there. So I'm doing my squats and things like that.
Greg is an excellent lifter in the off season. He worked really hard. You just saw a throw a fade to Doug Banks, which was out of bounds. Had a lot of pass protection time there, and there's a nice catch by Travis Boline. That's a big first down play. Keep the drive going. There's a fake the reverse, and then you couldn't see it there. You had to look kind of quick, but Greg had a big block on the backside there. There's a reverse play again. This is a good strong run. Almost could have broken for a touchdown. It was real close.
Line did a really good job of blocking, you know, right off the surge of the line.
That's a pretty young offensive line in there right now. Both tackles are underclassmen, the left guard's an underclassman, and just Tim McCaw and Scott Ford were the only seniors. This was an automatic, too, I believe, at the line of scrimmage, and just a really excellent run by Greg.
I'm not really sure I've ever seen like kind of an option run there. Is it something that you added?
No, we've added in all year long. In fact, we've used it before, and it's been successful for us. We just haven't used it a whole lot. Northwest Missouri, for all the adversity that they've had, I got to give them a lot of credit because they've gone through a tough season. They've had 10 knee injuries that required surgery, and you know, they had some broken bones and things of that sort. And here's Mark Eulie on a special teams play that was down there really quick and made a big hit. But they didn't quit, and they run just a tremendous wishbone offense. They stretched us out an awful lot, and as you're going to see here, they take the ball and they move it down now 85 yards for a touchdown.
Playing against them last year, you knew that number 34, Ed Tilson, was kind of a strong runner. Did you even try to key on him anymore this season?
Well,
this year, excuse me?
Kevin, not anymore, but what we tried to do, and right there you didn't see us do a good job of it, the quarterback is just an excellent football player. We had people on it. We had two guys assigned to the fullback, and we had a person on the quarterback coming off of the corner there. And we knew that if we could, you know, do that, then we'd have a good opportunity to stop their offense. But their offensive line executed very well, and if we had time to slow this down, you would see that many times on a lot of their good runs, they had our linebackers blocked, and that's who we had on the fullback dive, and they're not going to get there if they're blocked. They weren't supposed to have been blocked, but we had a breakdown in another area. But they get good offensive line surge. Both of their two guards were 290 pounds, and they could really come off. And they've recruited for this offense, you know, and I know that they're really disappointed with the season. They went to an unbalanced line a little bit from time to time, too, and that caused us some problems, but we had seen a lot of it the week before. Now, there we played it extremely well. Danny Fox got out and tackled the quarterback, and that's probably about as well as you can play it right there.
Did you ever try to copy, say, maybe Nebraska's defense or Oklahoma's defense against the wishbone like that?
Well, Kevin, what we do is, you know, we're going to explore a lot of different abilities, a lot of different ways to attack, and then try to put in a plan that's most suitable to our personnel. And I think, you know, you give this defensive football team another year, and they'll execute this plan a lot better because they'll have a lot more maturity and a lot more experience. We're still a very young defensive football team. As I've said several times, 9 of these young men are either sophomore or freshmen, and they can't get anything but better as they get into the winter program and get themselves bigger and stronger. But Northwest, I mean, you know, they just moved right down the field here, and they did a good job. And it wasn't that we didn't expect them to score. We knew they were going to score. We knew that they'd probably score quite a bit. And we just felt like there is great offensive line surge. I mean, you can see there that they knocked us out of there for about 4.5 yards right into the end zone. But we knew that we'd have to outscore them. I just never dreamed it would be 45-42. And of course, we scored, you know, with a kickoff return too. But that's part of that. We'd like to try to teach that with the idea that we can score.
Yeah, Greg, one thing I did notice in the game series, the offense never gave up. I mean, they'd score, you'd score. It seems like a kind of a teeter-totter kind of a battle there.
I think our offense has got good perseverance. I think we've got some good leaders there, and they're, for the most part this year, especially since the Emporia game, the offense really played well, with the exception of the Fort Hays game. We blew some really good opportunities of scoring there. But they have, most of their defensive players, a lot of them were back. A lot of them that had been beaten out were the alternate people. Now, Nolan Byers is in there at tailback. And doesn't he get hurt on this drive?
Oh, yeah, this is drive. So later at the sideline, I think he gets hurt.
Now, is everything all right with that injury? It wasn't very serious.
No, it was a shoulder injury that took him out for the day, but he's all right. Russ went to an automatic here. You saw Omar Rogers move back down inside to help us in terms of our protection. And I think that was Doug Banks that caught the pass there. I think we threw the ball 48 times, probably initiated about 50 to 52 passes, because twice already Russ has ran the ball, so that would put it at 50, and I know he did the second half some too.
Now, when you're in there in the backfield, Greg, do you like to block on passes, or do you like to get out there and make
I don't mind it. It's it's fun to run too, but I like to help the team out any way I can, and when you see a receiver downfield catching the ball, it makes you feel that maybe you did your job or something.
I think one way we would like to expand this offense would be to get more pass catches out of our tailback. I think that there's some things that we can do in this spring and in the off season to get them more involved in the pass patterns. There was another uncovered call, a blue call, and we went to the tight end, and the tight end wasn't looking for the pass, and as a result it went incomplete. It should have been caught. I thought Omar Rogers had a good game catching the ball, as well as Doug and Travis. There's the reverse bootleg again. And that was a great catch. That was a great catch. Was that Doug or was that Travis that caught that?
I think it was Doug.
They had their leading tackler, number 40, go out of the game at the very first series, and that seemed to be maybe a positive point for you, but he did come back in and play pretty good that game.
Yeah, he came back and finished the game. There's a nice run by Nolan. It was a good read, got outside.
I think that's the player who got hurt.
Is that the one? But also, Northwest had good pursuit to the football. They ran to the ball and got several people in on the tackle.
And if they worked real well this game, maybe you think, as being like a spectator, why do you think the record is 2-7-1 coming to this game? Is it just that they had tougher opponents, or?
Well, I think that they left the ball lay on the ground quite a bit from their offense, and that hurts you really bad. It's like a couple of the games early when we played Omaha, we had some costly turnovers that hurt us bad in that game, and you can't have turnovers and expect to be successful. Just what doesn't work. Again, we've got a nice drive going here in terms of being able to maintain the ball, and this was a play that we had called for Russ. It was a reverse that worked fairly well. The reverse will be a play that we're going to have to hang our hat on a little bit more in the future and get better and better and better at running it, and we will.
Is that going to be worked on in the off-season? I mean, like between now and
Well, it'll be worked on in spring practice, but all we'll do, this is one that they intercepted. Probably Omar conceivably could have scored, but he just didn't get the ball put away, and it was bounced around, so there's a touchdown that we didn't get. Had we got that one, that would have been real critical. Now, we come out here and make a really great play right there. That's a super play. I don't know who initially was on the tackle, whether that was Shannon Hansen or who it was, and we were able to turn them away this series. It was one of the few that we did that, and they got a heck of a punt. And sometimes to get good returns, you got to have them kick the ball like that. And you can see Doug is going to do a really great job with it. So we're going to be back in business and have great field position down to about the 38, 39-yard line.
And then we move into the second quarter here on this. That was the last play of the first quarter.
There's another really well-executed play and just tremendous pass protection.
I'm sorry, Coach.
He wasn't under any pressure at all. Now, here he did get under a little bit of pressure. He maybe should have had a little better fake, but he does a great job of scrambling and then finding Travis Boleen back inside. There's the sprint option that you saw earlier, and Greg's going to get another touchdown off of it. He really wasn't even challenged, It's kind of nice to run him in when you don't have to tackle you, right?
So you got to be feeling pretty good, Greg, right now. You got last home game, you got 2 touchdowns right off the bat, and what can you ask for more?
It felt okay, and then we'd be on our meeting in the sideline. All of a sudden they'd score again, and we knew we had to, buckle up again and go back out there.
They blocked the first one, but they were offside, so we got a second shot at it. And There's another really good play. Now, that might have been Tim Arch there, I think, maybe 44. They tried a little dipsy doodle here, and great job.
Great catch.
Great interception.
So after that first drive, our defense has been playing real well.
Yeah, they really did. We got a nice start there, and we ran a little reverse here for not a big game, but it does keep people honest. Here's a screen out to Greg outside. He did a really good job of cutting back in and finding his blockers. It was a great run.
Now, are you going on a pass pattern there, Greg, or are you a blocker? Or?
Well, on that play right there, I was just taking somebody out of the play so somebody could get open underneath, like a tight end or Omar like that.
Now, we would have looked for Greg first, then the tight end, and then Omar. And whether Russ might have seen something that just told him that Omar was going to be open beforehand. So. And then you got to see now, there goes the fullback.
Yep. They never really strayed away from that bone. They once in a while took their, had one back, but they usually stayed in the running game.
Now, that fullback, you saw him run for that long touchdown. He's 225 pounds. So you know he can do it. I mean, he's got really great speed for his size. So maybe that was probably a sign of what was to come, the fact that they scored so quick there. And then we're going to turn right around and kind of return the favor here in a way. Once he got to there, it was all over. Nobody's going to catch Travis. You can see him, he's widening it out with those people, and that's the kind of the talent of the seniors that they had that we're going to miss next year. We'll have to find ways to try to replace that.
So there's a lot more coaching going in a game like this when they keep scoring back and forth?
Well, you just keep talking. It wasn't that they, really, they didn't do a whole lot of different things on offense. They didn't do a whole lot of different things on defense. I mean, our defensive coaches knew their plan, and it boiled down to execution, and they didn't come out with a new defense to try to confuse us at all. So it wasn't that we had to spend lots of time talking at halftime.
Yeah, the halftime score, I believe, was 28-21, and like you mentioned, you got to talk about at halftime what was being said in the locker room at half about this high-scoring game so far. Well,
I know our defensive coaches went through and reviewed their whole plan to make sure that everybody knew who had the fullback and who had the quarterback and who had the pitch and who was going to play pass defense, because you saw them complete a long pass on us too. But that happens against major universities, so you really have to be disciplined. And they talked a lot about that offensively. We just reviewed anything that might have caused us some problems. Actually, we had executed pretty well. We didn't have any major breakdowns, and it was really kind of a subdued halftime as far as the offense was concerned. But I don't think that there was any question that these kids were ready to play football.
Okay, when we come back, we'll talk more with Coach Boroff and Greg Schmidt and look at second half action.
When you're growing up, it's tough enough when emotions are stirred. And honestly, it's so hard to see when your vision is blurred. Well, I can see it in your eyes, and I can hear it in your cries. Don't you know it's so hard to get started when you don't have anything?
If you're a kid with troubles, you've got a friend at Boys Town. Whether you're a boy or a girl, Boys Town has a caring person just a phone call away who will really listen to your problems and help you solve them. If you're being abused, using drugs or alcohol,
running away, pregnant, or just need somebody to talk to, call Boys Town's hotline.
It's 1-800-448-3000. There's no charge, and you can call anytime.
Welcome back to the Claire Boroff Show. Greg, it's the final half before your season ends. I asked this of Doug last week. Being a senior, did you mention anything to the team at halftime? Maybe not like a little pep talk to keep the offense going?
Well, we had some early success in the first half, and we just knew that we could score, and we were just hoping that, we could score more than they did, basically, and we knew it was the seniors' last half, so we wanted to make it the best 30 minutes, of our careers, hopefully.
And, Coach, same question, did you say anything to your seniors? Seniors go out there and prove what you can do and just end on a good note?
Really what we did, we just reminded the total squad of what our goal was, because for us to be successful was going to require a total team effort. Our seniors couldn't do it by themselves, and I felt like that we responded. I mean, we We didn't really ever stop them totally defensively until those last two drives where it was critical. But it certainly, again, it wasn't a lack of trying not to stop them.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't that we didn't have a good plan, and as I said earlier, it just was really execution more than anything else.
Well, now if you look at the second half action, halftime score is Kearney State 28, Northwest Missouri State 21.
It was their choice, and so we kicked off to them, and they received the ball, and we took what little wind there was out of the north to our back. They had good returns. There's a Kevin Lewis, I think 24, was in initially on the tackle right there. There were a couple others that missed their numbers, but you can see again that they drove the ball right down the field. There's a little halfback counter play that they were able to stick in for a touchdown. And just, you got to maintain your poise and just keep working and realize that the game's not over till it's over. And if you have more points on when it's all said and done, why, then you got to consider yourself being successful. This could have nearly been a disaster here. Russ scrambled and scrambled, and then he found, was that you, Greg,
me, yeah.
on the side?
Glad I dropped it.
Yeah, if he had caught it, it would have been a big loss of yards. Again, there's Greg going in motion to the outside, and we went out to Omar Rogers. This was really a superb effort by Omar.
That was great.
Getting across the end zone there. He has no reason for Omar not to continue to have a really good year his senior year. He should have learned an awful lot about the position that he plays, and he should be much more effective. Quarterback was just really a talented football player for him. There you see him take off. There, he's going to go all the way. At the football banquet Saturday night, John McDonald, who emceed it, made a comment. He said, "Did you ever go to a track meet that turned out to be a football game?" And that's just about what this was.
So when you got good athletes on both sides, it kind of makes the game for the fans and everybody else enjoyable to watch.
Well, yeah, there shouldn't have been too many people that left because it was a dull game. Here's a great play coming back by us. There's a super pass to Travis from Russ Harvey. Again, excellent protection, and you know, you got to be able to pull the trigger from time to time.
And we missed a lot of plays that lead up to those big plays, but like you said, they have great protection on most of those passing games. He also makes a lot of things happen too.
Yeah, he does. And of course, you know, it's the thing the guy doesn't want to forget is that it's a team game. There goes the fullback again.
I don't know how he moves that fast.
Yeah, he does. He moves really well. Dave Bangert was able to knock him down before he got into the end zone, but you can see for a big guy, he was really motoring down the sideline.
Now moving to fourth quarter action.
Quarterback kept the ball, and I think he got in on that. I'm not sure. No, I don't think he did. They run what we call a lead ISO or a double ISO, and they were able to punch it in then. But, you know, I'd really admire our defense. Shoot, they didn't get the hangdog attitude. They just kept fighting and fighting and played hard. And down the line here at the end of this quarter, they're going to have some good things happen to them.
I think that puts you up there 45-42, and they go down there and they make a big play with it. Like I think it's right here, and they get called back on a penalty.
That's
here.
right.
So it's got to be a relief from the coaching standpoint.
That's right. Well, you know, they got one that was called back, and we were down there to score a touchdown, and we had it intercepted because it popped up off of our receiver's hand. So what goes around comes around, and it kind of has a way of evening out. There is a super play right there. John Chappell, 73, made that play. Then they came with the quarterback draw, which is a play that from time to time this year has hurt us. And, you know, again, I just think you got to give the quarterback a lot of credit. He's a very talented athlete, and as you mentioned, you get good athletes on both sides of the ball, and exciting things can happen. And they're in the kind of offense, even though it's wishbone, where they need big plays, and really it's not any different with the stuff that we're in. You see another really good run by him, and we had some kind of support pursuit angles in there. We might have been able to tackle him for a gain that would not have been nearly that long.
And
this is a great play by Colby Lathrop. Colby's a true sophomore from Kearney High School. He went in to replace Greg Smith. Greg sustained a little knee injury, and I was really happy that we were able to do that. And we're just going to kill the clock here. You know, it had to be a frustrating loss for Northwest Missouri, but I'll tell you what, it was a big win for us, and And we want our athletes to enjoy the victories when we get them, because they don't come that easy.
You've had a lot of close games at home. I guess you keep having the fans come out and watch. You prove a lot of excitement for everybody to come out this year so far anyway.
Well, we hope that it was exciting. I think our athletes really do deserve a lot of support from the community, the college community, and the community, just community-wide. They put a lot of effort and a lot of time into the program, and I think it makes them feel better when they can see the stands full. But I never question their desire to win, and I'm happy with the 6-5 season. I could be a lot happier with 7-4, but when you look at the people that you played, and when you consider the fact, Kevin, that we won a couple ball games we could have lost, and we lost a couple that we could have won, maybe 6-5, 7-4 would have been about as good as we could have expected this year.
As the people leaving that game, Greg, you had a little group picture with some other players on the team. Is this something you're going to remember this your 4 years here at Kearney State on the football team?
Well, I'll be able to look on that and just think about all the great friends I met and everything, and something I'll be able to cherish for the rest of my life.
When we come back, we'll wrap up the 1990 football season with Coach Boroff and Greg Schmidt.
If you work with someone who has AIDS, do you know which of these things is safe to do? Shaking hands, sharing tools, riding in the same car, using the same telephone, drinking from the same water fountain, sitting at the same table, using the same bathroom, using the same copying machine. Yes, any normal activity in the workplace is safe to do with someone who has AIDS. To learn more, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
Welcome back to the Claire Baller Show. Coach, to kind of run through the whole season, your comments on how your offense, you thought your offense played all year.
Well, I thought we got better as the season went along. I think probably there were 7, maybe 8 games in which they played pretty well. They didn't play well at Adams State. They didn't play very well at Moorhead, and we certainly didn't take advantage of some opportunities at Hayes. The Omaha game, we had a lot of yards, but we didn't score. So maybe you'd get it down to possibly 7 games that we maybe played up to what we would like, although we can always play better. And then I think defensively, I just would say that we played hard. And we played with a lot of youth and a lot of inexperience, and I think that will really show good positive dividends for this football team next fall.
And I put the question to you too, Greg. How do you think the offense played all year?
Well, I think later on, towards the end of the season, we finally got an idea of what kind of offense, the idea of what we wanted to do, and at the beginning of the season we sputtered a few times, and we weren't real consistent until right at the end there. I think passing and throwing, we really got a good idea of what we wanted to do.
Also, another question to you. What's your plans for after you're going to graduate in May? What do you have in your future?
Well, I'd like to be a teacher and hopefully go into coaching, and if I can coach, games like this, it'll be a real thrill for me.
That's great. Coach, now moving on to next season, what are you doing right now? Is strengthening, coaching, aerobics, anything?
Well, what we're doing, Kevin, this week we're testing our athletes, and then next week they'll go into a lifting program, which we're going to go to a 5-day-a-week lifting program. We've never done that before. It doesn't mean that they'll be in there 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, because that's not the case. But we got to get bigger and we got to get stronger, and that's one way you do it. You got to spend a lot of time in the weight room. You have to eat properly. And so we've talked to our athletes about that. We got to get bigger. We got to get stronger. We'd like to get faster. And then, of course, we got to get busy with recruiting, and our coaches are involved in that. We're looking at a lot of tapes, trying to get a lot of tapes sent into us, and just get about your business. And then, of course, begin to plan for spring football later the second semester.
Now, you mentioned eating properly. I mean, there's Thanksgiving coming up, and you got Christmas. Do you hand out like a little diet for your players?
Well, no, we don't. I guess really what I meant, Kevin, in all seriousness, is that you obviously are well aware of what steroids do and the problems that they create, and this coaching staff has talked a great deal to our football team that if we can't get bigger and stronger the old-fashioned way by lifting and by proper diet, then we're just not going to get bigger and stronger. We would never condone the use of steroids or anything like that. If we suspected something was being done, we would test the athlete immediately. So we just tried to approach it in an honest manner. And, obviously we don't want them. Some of our guys need to lose some weight, and then there are others that need to put it on.
Okay, Greg, thanks for joining us tonight here on the Claire Barrow Show, and good luck whatever you do in the future. I'm sure you'll be a good teacher and also coach. And Coach, thanks. It's been a great season. Thanks for joining us here. We hope to see you back here next season.
Thank you, Kevin, and I'd want to compliment you. You did a nice job.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's all for the Claire Barrow Show this season. The Kearney State Lopers end up 6-5, and hope to see you back here next season. Good night.